The Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast with Luker's Jaguar. Charge into the future. Take the wheel of an electric vehicle for 48 hours. Book a test drive today. It's game day, and this is the home of Scottish football. It's Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Good afternoon and welcome to Clyde One Super Scoreboard as we kick off a big weekend of League and Cup action. There's a big one at Hampden later as Hibs and Aberdeen meet for the chance to make this season's first final. The winner of that takes on Rangers or Hearts, who face off tomorrow. But before all of that, it's a big day in the Premiership, kicking off with Ross County against Celtic in the company of Gordon Dalziel, Mark Wilson and Hugh Keevins.
It is risk strategy time for Brendan Rodgers. He's picked a team in Dingwall that's based around a game in Madrid on Tuesday. Full details on the way from Gabriel in the Highlands, but it looks to me like the Celtic manager has prioritised the Champions League over the domestic league, and there is a risk element attached to that plan. Celtic dropped 2 points against Hibs last weekend. They almost dropped another 2 against St Mirren on Wednesday night, and now Ross County will put a much revamped team to the test on a ground where Celtic historically have always had a battle on their hands.
Yeah, big games everywhere across the country, Gordon. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Go on, Daz.
Yeah, I'll take over. Can you hear me? Yes, I agree with Mark. I think they're massive games all about the country today. Important games. Obviously, Dingwall, Hughes highlighted the way Celtic's gone about their business in the Highlands. But I look at Kilmarnock and Motherwell desperate for a result. We've got a semi-final. We've got great games in the Championship. I'm looking forward to this weekend.
Yeah, I'll just echo what Dad says here. It just stole my thunder. Big games everywhere. Obviously the semi-final later on this afternoon, but Kilmarnock, Motherwell, huge for both sides, particularly Motherwell. But up in Dingwall, first and foremost, Celtic with a game in their mind, like Hugh says, of midweek, but have to get the job done this afternoon against a Ross County team who also could be doing with a win. Fantastic afternoon ahead.
Absolutely, a 6-hour Saturday here on Clyde One Super Scoreboard, and it all kicks off in Dingwall with Celtic's trip to face Ross County, and Gabriel has the teams.
I do, Gordon. Good afternoon. It is a foggy November day up here in the Highlands. Tough conditions out there for the players, but a huge opportunity for Celtic to extend their lead at the top with Rangers and many of the chasing pack not in league action due to involvement with the League Cup semi-finals. Hugh has called Brendan Rodgers' strategy risky. That's because the Northern Irishman has made 7 changes to his team that overcame St Mirren midweek. Clearly, one eye on that must-win tie in Madrid in the Champions League on Tuesday. And Matt O'Reilly and Kyogo are amongst those to start on the bench. Only Hart, Scales, Taylor and McGregor keep their place. Let's go through the 11 then. It's Joe Hart in goal. An offence of Tony Ralston, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Liam Scales and Greg Taylor. The midfield will be Callum McGregor, Paolo Bernardo and David Turnbull, with Hyung Jung Yang and Daisen Maida on the wings. O leads the line. The substitutes are Bain, Holm, Iwata, Johnson, Phillips, Palmer, Kyogo, O'Reilly and Forrest. And it will not be an easy task here for the league leaders, not only because of the weather, but because they do always have a battle on their hands up here in Dingwall. A really strong team named by Ross County. Malcolm Mackay makes just 2 changes from Tuesday night. Purrington and Turner drop to the bench. Danda and Harmon come in. They look like they're playing a 4-4-2. It's Ross Laidlaw in goal. A defence of James Brown, Ryan Leake, Jack Baldwin and George Harmon. Jan Danda will be on one side with Victor Latourie on the other. Conor Randall and Scott Allardyce will play in the middle. Simon Murray and Jordan White are up top. Their substitutes: Monroe, Purrington, Turner, Sheaf, High, Samuel, Brophy, Smith and Nightingale. And Mark touched on it as well. County struggling at the moment, winless in 7. They're down in 10th place. They did have that spirited fight back against Hibernian midweek to draw 2-2, and a win would catapult them into the top half of the table. That's how tight it is, Gordon. Always a battle here, as we say, but County traditionally do struggle against Celtic. The Hoops have won all of the last 9 meetings. Another 3 points today for Celtic would push them 8 points clear at the top. The referee is David Monroe. Andrew Dallas is the VAR, and kick-off is 25 minutes away.
Well, Mark Wilson, we should have seen this coming. Brendan Rodgers said he trusted the squad. Is this still a higher number of changes than you anticipated?
6 is a lot, you've got to say, but a lot of those 6 have played a part over recent weeks, and when you look back to midweek where we saw Yang come on and make a difference, Maeda was obviously introduced off the bench on that occasion, but O gets the goal, so he's coming in feeling good about himself. Bernardo's obviously had some game time, Turnbull with a goal as well, and Carter Vickers of course is always going to come back into the team. So it's not like guys have come in out of cold storage that they've had no game time and they're taken to the field and you're not really sure what you're going to get. I think it's the right move when you've got this volume of games that Brendan Rodgers is facing, and you've got a squad like his. Remember, there's some guys not even stripped, there'll be guys injured, possibly a squad of 35 players or something like that, first team recognised, first team players. You've got to mix it up. Now he's chosen today to do that, and I still think there's enough quality in there. You know, with Maeda and Yang on the wings, you've got ball carriers and plenty of pace, and it's a big day for O up front. Can he back up what he did on Wednesday night? This is his opportunity to do it this afternoon.
It's not a surprise. Brendan Rodgers came out and said last week that wasn't going to be the same starting 11. He's got to rotate the squad. That's why he's got such a big squad with the quality they've got. There's still quality in that Celtic side, let's not be kidded here. The front three will be very interesting, and when you get the opportunity, especially at a club like Celtic, you've got to take it. I am so keen and so looking forward to watching O perform from the start today. I've said it from day one, I think he's got something in his locker and I'm sticking by it.
We are a simple bunch though, Hugh Keevins. Mark Wilson says it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do if Celtic win, and it's the wrong thing to do if Celtic lose. That will be the mood on the open line when we get to the phones later.
Well, the Celtic fans, in the event of the draw that's a disaster, the defeat that's a catastrophe, will come on here and say, why 7 changes match to match? Why prioritise the Champions League over the domestic league? And Brendan Rodgers will take it in the neck if Celtic drop points. They're all signed Celtic players. They're all the first team squad. They should be up to the task of beating second bottom Ross County. But 7 changes from match to match for me is always a risk strategy.
I think in particular, Mark, the ones that would jump out would be Kyogo, obviously, and probably Matt O'Reilly. Started every other game this season. They're the 2 scorers in the Scottish Premiership, 2 top scorers in the Scottish Premiership, sorry. They are clearly Celtic's best attacking threat. Would they be the ones that really jump out? I mean, do you take when you run through a number of changes in terms of, is it 6, is it 7, is it 5, it can sound dramatic, but Cameron Carter-Vickers is an improvement on the back line, so not everyone has to be seen as a risk, but particularly those 2.
Well, you'd have to say so, because the focus always goes particularly Celtic and your attacking threat, and when you're taking out your main goal scorer, your main movement, your main trigger to press in Kyogo, then the guy who comes in better do a good job, because it's going to be recognised. But Matt O'Reilly, I think for me, he's been the player of the season so far across the country, not just for Celtic. I think he's taken his game to a different level under Brendan Rodgers' management, and he gets into the box and he creates and he scores goals, so you're taking a huge amount away from your game. But like Bernardo and David Turnbull have now got the same opportunity as O has. Turnbull, took it, although he missed a penalty midweek, he scores a great goal. It's up to Bernardo to do the same, and it's a big afternoon for those also.
Building up to kick-off in Dingwall, we will hear from Brendan Rodgers next.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard with Call Robert Accident Repair. They'll collect, repair and deliver your vehicle, providing a hassle-free service.
And now a word from our podcast sponsor, Lookers Motor Group. They've got Jaguar, Land Rover and Volvo showrooms across Glasgow and the West, so you can find the new or used approved car that's right for you. The Land Rover showrooms can be found in Motherwell, Darnley and the north of Glasgow, with their Jaguar and Volvo showroom found in Hillington. And right now at lookers.co.uk you can browse and shop 24/7, value your part exchange, order and take delivery from the comfort of your own home. Every approved used Jaguar, Land Rover or Volvo comes with a minimum of 12 months warranty, roadside assistance, MOT test warranty, an independent mileage and service history check, software updates and lots more. Check out lookers.co.uk to get your new or used approved Land Rover, Jaguar or Volvo today. Now back to the podcast.
This is the story of that day you cleared out the garage. Classics with the best MC in the galaxy. Or the story of that workout when you lifted a weight off and harnessed the power of your emotions. Or the story of that long-haul flight, sat on the plains of the Namibian desert, soothed by the returning rains. From the Corrupt FM podcast to Darren Brown's Bootcamp for Emotion and Sleep Sound with Maya Jama. For the story you need right now, listen on Audible. Subscription required. See audible.co.uk for terms.
Action as it happens. And your reaction from 5 on the open line. This is Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard.
15 minutes away from kick-off in Dingwall. Celtic making 6 changes, heading up there to take on Malky Mackay's side. These are the thoughts of Brendan Rodgers.
It's a tough game for us. Malky's done a brilliant job since he's been in there, but it's not a surprise to me. I know him well. I've worked closely with him. I know how hard he works. I know that he gives absolutely everything into every job that he goes into. And like we've seen in the first game of the season, it was even though we won the game and played okay, we had our challenges in the game. So this will be exactly the same. We have to be ready.
Well, they certainly do have to be ready, but I do believe that the manager, Brendan Rodgers, has prioritised the Champions League over the domestic league, because we can all go back over the dramatic goals scored against Ross County late on the game in Dingwall. Alessandro Bernabe did it last season. The season before that, it was Anthony Ralston. Celtic always get a tough game there. And I know, before anyone quotes the stats at me, that they have beaten Ross County 9 times out of their last 9 meetings. But some of these players, peripheral at best up until now, some of them are really going to have to come to the fore here today.
But if you judge who's playing for Celtic today against Ross County, every one of those Celtic players would be a starter every day of the week in the Ross County side.
And then some.
And then some. So there shouldn't be any surprises. Now, you touched on it, Carter Vickers is an upgrade on Phillips from the other night. You've still got McGregor in there. You've got Scales, who, you know, has been the find of the season, and Greg Taylor. So your back four is solid. McGregor in front, and the rest are as creative as you like. So there shouldn't be a problem. Brendan Rodgers would have known when the Champions League was coming up, the volume of games at this period is incredibly difficult to manage, and he has to utilise his full squad, and this is an afternoon he's chose to do it.
The funny thing is, I think both of them can be right, Gordon. If you make a number of changes, it can be disruptive. It can obviously increase your chances of dropping points, but we need to remember where we are. If we're going to bang on about budgets and resources every time our teams go into Europe, you have to bear in mind what you're dealing with in the Scottish Premiership. And if Celtic's second choice right back or second choice central midfielder, who is on loan from Benfica, can't get the job done against Ross County, then that's not really good enough.
It's not. Look, it's not like you're looking at a team full of young kids we've never heard of, and Brendan Rodgers is throwing them in. These are guys that are first team players. Mark's quite right in what he says. Every one of the players will walk into Ross County all day long. Ross County are sitting 9th, 10th in the league. They've lost about 17 goals. I know going away from home, sometimes you say, well, they've always had it difficult up there. If you're a Celtic player and you're waiting for your opportunity, and you cannot go and hack it against Ross County, I'm not being disrespectful to Ross County, you're at Celtic because of a reason, then you shouldn't be wearing the strip. It's as simple as that. I've no problem with that team. I think that team's bags of talent, bags of pace. I think there's goals in that team, there's experience in that team, the captain's in the team. So I don't see the big deal of what Brendan Rodgers is doing.
I think he showed them respect in the fact that Carter Vickers is back in the side, because he could have easily have left Carter Vickers for midweek and said to Phillips or Nawrocki, or if Lagerbielka's in a bit training, then on you go and play. But I think he recognises that with Danda and White and Simon Murray, and if Brophy's on the bench, that there's a danger there. Ross County do carry a threat. They showed that at Celtic Park in the first game of the season, so he understands that. But from middle to front, Celtic should have enough to create chances and score.
Ross County are 7 without a win. You take Hugh's point, you know, it has been a tough place to go in terms of in-game for Celtic, but fair play,
Yeah.
you point out the fact that Celtic do tend to get the job done. It just feels like a real mixed bag. I mean, home and hosed at Fir Park last week, then chuck it away.
Yep.
Do the reverse of that to Hibs in midweek. There's not been a lot to love about Ross County, but they're not a disaster either. I suppose that just sums up most of the Scottish Premiership at the moment, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, were they to beat Celtic today, they'd shoot up the league table. But I do take Gordon Dale's point that if that team isn't good enough to beat Ross County, a Ross County side with all the deficiencies that you've pointed out, Brendan Rodgers has got a problem in his hands then, because it's a bloated squad, and he will be getting rid of a lot of players in January when the window reopens. But if they can't take care of business today against a team joint second bottom of a league where all the teams outside of the top three are variable in form, and I'm trying to be respectful there.
I'm very kind of you.
Then Brendan Rodgers, he'll need a shovel to offload the ones that he doesn't want in January.
Yeah, I think, look, I don't think that you can define someone's career with one game. But I think that Hugh's right in the fact that some of those players will come under the spotlight today. They will be playing for the fact that whether they're going to stay at Celtic Park, because January there will be comings and goings, of course there will. Brendan Rodgers will probably have his mind made up in one or two, so it's up to these guys. Look, guys like, we keep saying it, I don't like judging someone to see a run of games going on from the start. Now there's an opportunity today. Mark's quite right. As a striker, you're coming off a midweek, you've scored that winner, you're full of confidence. I'm looking for a big performance out of him this afternoon. I really am. Yang, there's question marks about him. Here's an opportunity. And, I'm delighted Turnbull's still in there. I think he brings so much to Celtic. I know he comes in for a bit of criticism from the Celtic supporters. He's got a terrific shot on him. He's a terrific passer of the ball. I think he's a very intelligent player. I just see Celtic, I think Ross County will make a fight of it, but I just see Celtic having enough in their locker to win this game.
Well, remember the first day of the season. This has come round very quickly. That's one round of fixtures done for Celtic, taking on Ross County, who, remember, started that game at Celtic Park really well, and then Celtic found their groove and managed to win quite comfortably. So that doesn't feel like so long ago, and here we are back round to the second round of fixtures.
Certainly doesn't. I mean, we were full of plaudits for Malky Mackay's side on that afternoon, and rightly so, because they played some great football. They put Celtic under some real pressure, but in between then and now has been probably a disappointment for Malky Mackay. So you can see today as an ideal opportunity for them to try and get their season up and running and shoot up the league. So they will make it difficult for Celtic. You've got to think they will. But again, players for Celtic put out today have got a real opportunity to stake their claim. With guys like Hatate out the team for midweek, then it's going to be a Turnbull or a Bernardo probably that comes in, and you can see which one of them maybe shines today, might get the nod. Will Yang have enough to challenge Palmer? These are the opportunities that you've got to grasp, and will be a suitable replacement for Kyogo if he ever does get injured. Well, today he's got to show that he can take on the responsibility of being the main man.
Do you remember the first caller that night? No. Celtic 4, Ross County 2.
You're going to tell me though.
First caller, Celtic fan. Performance shocking, he said. So that's the way you're judged in this city. They won 4-2 at home. Brendan Rodgers' first match, back in charge of the club, and the first caller said shocking performance. So they're all under the microscope now.
Suppose that, to state the obvious, this is where you get that difference between home expectation and away expectations. Is that the way you always found it? Like, generally speaking, you take a win on the road, but if you're at home, it's to be a win with some gloss.
A bit of swagger. Yeah, of course, everybody expected you to win 5-0 at home, and if you didn't, then you were quick to hear about it, and it's just not the reality. But you're right, Gordon, away from home, listen, you know how difficult the job is to get done. And you also know that you're playing today in league duty and your closest competitors aren't. So it's an opportunity for Celtic just to stretch your lead a wee bit further.
Okay, it's almost showtime. Most of the pre-match talking is done. It's a big game to kick off a huge weekend of football in the League and Cup. Ross County against Celtic in Dingwall, and kick-off is coming next.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard with Call Robert Accident Repair. Fault and non-fault insurance specialist. Robert will even pay your excess. The team with the biggest support in Glasgow and the West. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
It's almost time in Dingwall. Let's go back and get a recap of the teams and take us up to kick-off with Gabriel.
Thanks, Gordon. Yes, the two teams just exchanging handshakes at the moment. I'm looking at the Celtic players, and it is a much changed side here today in Dingwall, but the fans are still expectant. They're packing out the stand to my left, hoping to see their team extend their lead at the top. Of course, the reverse fixture was the opening day of the season, a 4-2 win for Celtic. Brendan Rodgers says his team have been constantly progressing since then. Here is a chance to see how far they've come, and a chance for many players that have come in to impress him today. 6 changes, as you said, Gordon. Let's have a quick run through of that team as Celtic perform a huddle in the middle of the park. It's Joe Hart in goal, defensive Tony Ralston, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Liam Scales and Greg Taylor. Callum McGregor, Paolo Bernardo and David Turnbull are in midfield, with Hyung-Jun Yang and Dyson Maida on the wings. O leads the line. What about the hosts? Malky Mackay only made 2 changes from Tuesday night. They line up in a 4-4-2 formation. It's Ross Laidlaw in goal, a defensive James Brown, Ryan Leake, Jack Baldwin and George Harmon. Jan Danda and Victor Latoria out wide. Connor Randall and Scott Allardyce in the middle of the park, with Simon Murray and Jordan White up top. Goal threats for County, no doubt. They're winless in 7, but a win today would propel them up the league table into the top half, all the way from 10. A huge opportunity for the Staggies, but Celtic know their task. Victory, and they go 8 points clear at the top. That's what Captain Callum McGregor will be saying to his players at the moment. He's in the huddle giving out orders. They know with Rangers not playing, it is a massive opportunity for them here today. The referee is David Monroe. Andrew Dallas is on the VAR, and Jan Danda is standing over the ball here in Dingwall. The Premiership weekend, a massive weekend of Scottish football, is about to kick off, Gordon. Jan Danda just standing. David Monroe has the whistle in his mouth, and we are underway in Dingwall.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard. Goal flashes. With M&D Green Pharmacy. Make your life that little bit easier. Use their free prescription delivery.
Come on then, the highlight of my Saturday is hearing what you 3 hopeless duds think the scores will be. You did, however, predict that Celtic would drop points last week. And whilst I give with one hand, I take away with the other, because you thought the same midweek and it didn't happen. What are we going for today?
I said last night on Super Scoreboard that in the face of allegations of wishful thinking and reverse psychology, that Celtic would win 2-1. I stand by my 2-1.
I'm going to go one more, 3-1 Celtic.
I'll go.
Come on, you've had all week to think about this. Why is this taking so long?
Because they stole my thunder, but I'll go 2-0 Celtic.
Good to see that the caller that accused Hugh of wishful thinking about Celtic dropping points hasn't got to him. I've now got that down as the 19th time he's mentioned it since the caller was made. So we'll see. We'll keep that tally going between now and the end. And the first chance actually goes to Ross County, well inside the first sort of 20-30 seconds. Down at Celtic's left, County's right, across into the box, and just not enough on the finish. It drifts harmlessly wide, Gordon, but a sign of intent, I think they call it.
Yeah, and I think Malky Mackay will be quite happy with that. On the front foot, trying to take the game to Celtic. It will be difficult, right enough. And if you get opportunities like that, I've always said about this Celtic side, they're getting better and better, and they're impressing me with some of the football. But if you ask for a negative, I look at them and I think they can give up goals. And we've seen that at midweek as well. And St Mirren fans and St Mirren, you know, maybe the manager and coaching staff will be thinking, oh, it was a well worked goal from St Mirren. I'll not take that away from them. But I'm looking at the Celtic point of view. I thought it was a poor goal to lose.
I actually think Jordan White should have done better with that, by the way. I think that's right up his street. Not a lot of pacing the ball in, but he's right in the middle of the Celtic penalty area, about 6 yards, 7 yards out, and he heads it down. He should hit the target.
Well, can we just attach some nonsense statement like it came too early in the game for him? I don't really know what that means, but
maybe he couldn't see for the fog.
Well, I was going to say
it's a bit foggy.
The main thing that jumps out so far from Dingwall is it is foggy, and if you stay with us all afternoon you will hear more cutting edge observations like that one. But it certainly is, and it's a corner to Celtic, which David Turnbull, it looks like a training ground one, a high, looking for Greg Taylor at the back post. It almost gets there, but just nicked away, and a throw into Celtic on the near side as well.
You'd be disappointed if you're Ross County and you lose a goal to a Greg Taylor header from a corner with the size of the players that Ross County have got. But it was a good move from Celtic.
That's the modern way, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a good move, I've got to say. Training ground
get
exercise.
players into different areas and because he scored. It was the Kilmarnock game, wasn't it? And it happened time and time again, where the corner would get fired front post. Dalziel and Maida would somehow be there to kind of flick it on, and it eventually worked, and Greg Taylor just tapped it into the empty net.
I remember when it changed for me. I used to always just be the guy that was back at corners, and then Neil Wenning came along, and for whatever reason he said, "Go and you in the box." I scored my first goal at Pataudry, front post run, header, loved it, loved just being in the box. It was great.
When did you score after that?
I scored about 2 after that, didn't I?
I've never seen such a thing.
Including
Oh, it was
the
great.
appearances.
Front post header.
At Pataudry. Did you win the game?
Won the game, then I got the Scotland call up that night as well, so it was a great night.
What did you do to celebrate that?
You know what?
I
I was playing centre half that night as well. Got the bingo. Bingo was fantastic, by the way.
How was the bingo last week? Was it good?
Brilliant. Loved it.
Enjoy it.
Loved it. It was a week before, 2 weeks ago.
Did you get a winner?
Yeah, well, Leanne did. She got a full house, 50 quid, so can't complain.
I've got a membership to one of the bingo halls.
We should go, by the way, guys.
A wee day out.
You would love it.
The old codgers should go, but I can't believe that I'm standing beside a former Celtic and Scotland player, and he's talking about going to bingo and party.
We just get our dabbers out and away we go. I think there's no better way in a Saturday night. Dabbers in the hand, there we go, full house.
Aye, that's enough talk.
1st of February 2011.
That's it. Aye, it was in
Eventually found
February.
it.
Aye, it was good. Did you see it?
It's only
good
just
run.
Oh, in Dingwall.
No,
but the whistle has
cancel that.
gone. Of course, VAR might take a look. However, I wonder if the whistle went before that ball was turned into the net. Gabriel might be able to tell us.
No, not in that, let me tell you.
The foul's been given against O for being a bit too physical with Jordan White. A kind of push in the back is the allegation. Liam Scales turned it into the net. Right in that category, Mark, of okay, seen them given, but not loads in it either.
Don't think so. I mean, O's up. I don't think he's really impeding White. I think White maybe feels the contact and goes down. We've seen it so many times, but I don't think there's much in that. Ross County have got away with one there.
I think Jordan White was
they're having a
very
look,
clever.
though. Are they?
I think Jordan White was clever there. If he's going to get away with it, he feels the contact, throws himself to the ground. I didn't see a
That's
lot.
not a foul for me.
And this is where I'm going to infuriate everyone, not deliberately, because that's just the really annoying thing about VAR and why certain elements of it, if not at all, should go in the bin. The referee's given the infringement, bear that in mind. So is that a clear and obvious error? Is that going to be enough to get overturned? Rather than the goal being given and then looking for the infringement. Do you see what I mean? No, I can look at the blank faces.
I'm a bit confused
Right,
here.
because it's not like the goal's been given and they're then checking that push.
Right,
You see the infringement's been given. Is that going to be overturned? And there, the answer is no. It's play on. It's Ross County 0, Celtic 0, no goal. Do you see what I mean? Because the bar changes then.
Yeah.
In terms of how, is it clear and obvious enough for it to be turned over?
Shame for Liam Scales, the story of the season for Celtic. Could have been his first goal, but VAR's had a look. The referee made up his mind in real time, and on we go.
Because that's the one, Mark, that I guess referees would tell you, and we can't have it both ways. We can't be hypocrites here. Be decisive, make your own decision. Don't rely on VAR. Don't re-referee the game, right? Yeah. So you have to stick by that.
Of course.
However, some people, obviously, when it's your team or whatever, you would fall into the trap sometimes of saying, well, just let the goal stand and then have a look.
Of course, listen, the referee's blown for it before Liam Scales makes contact with the ball, so that kind of takes that away from it. And well, no,
he can't have blown before, can he? No, no.
Just with the reaction of the Ross County defender ran about Liam Scales,
well,
I thought
you wouldn't check that, would you?
No, of course not. No, you're right, actually.
So anyway, another day, another VAR discussion.
There's a good start to this game. There's a good pace to it. Celtic looking sharp after that initial 30 seconds where Ross County went up, put a dangerous ball in. Mark says that Jordan White should have probably done better.
Celtic
Would
right
that
in the
be
corner
the first
of the
yellow?
box? It is. It's just caught on the wrong side. It's a bit of a blind swing at it, and it's is it Yang who's chopped down in the corner of the box.
I wonder what James Brown's moaning at there. He's having a go at the referee, and he's playing his case. I think so. I think he's late. I think Yang is moving into the box with the ball, so I don't think he's got much to complain on there.
Yeah, stopping a promising attack, I suppose it has to.
Wow.
Tell you what,
It looks even worse than a booking from there.
tell you what, if we're on VAR checks, James Brown might have an issue here. Just because the
That looks a sore
stud
one.
has landed on Yang's ankle, and the ref's going over, is he? No. He's just marking back the wall.
But I mean, fans are entitled to look at that and think, what is the game coming to here? You know,
I think
that's a red card.
No, I don't agree with that here.
because he's close. He's not, so it's not got that big sort of lunge, from a distance. That's,
Yeah.
cameras.
I think it's unfortunate where
Yeah,
it caught.
Here we go.
Yeah,
He's going to
yeah,
the
yeah.
monitor.
I think
It
you
is gonna
could be right
Yeah.
here. It's a sore one. By the way, is Yang up? Because he looked to jump to his feet.
Here we are, Ross County, I suspect, about to go down to 10 men. When you see that contact, we've said it before, you can always look at a contact like that. If you're going to say, is that endangering an opponent, it's kind of easy to say yes, isn't it, when you see the level of contact, and it's high, it's extremely high. From James Brown right onto it's actually above the ankle.
It's
on
the
Yang.
way Yang's foot goes, I think it makes it worse, isn't it?
Is he gone? Is he gone here?
Well, he should be.
I think he will be. I think if you're going to take it with what we've seen previously, I get when you slow it down it could look worse.
It does.
Look, I have sympathy with James Brown because I think you can
trying to clear
see
the ball.
he's trying to go for the ball and Yang's quicker, and as his foot then comes up, James Brown, it catches Yang above
Yes.
the ankle.
Here it comes, the decision then. Referee has checked the monitor, he's taking his time, he signals, and he is calling James Brown
yeah,
over.
he's
He goes
away.
into the top pocket,
Yeah.
and he's
Not
going
be
to take
feeling good now.
He's going to take the yellow card back and replace it with a red. Ross County down to 10 men with less than 10 minutes on the clock. James Brown is saying, I couldn't see him. He's come from the blind side. I couldn't see him. I'm a very good lip reader. But that's his argument. It's not going to stand for anything now. He is gone. Ross County down to 10.
I think Malky Mackay would be advised to get the player off the park because he's in danger of getting himself into even deeper bother. He's finally decided they will go off. But for me, if that's not a red card, what is?
Yeah, the contact is just... It's hard to what's the word?
Yeah,
Excuse that level of contact.
Like you
Gordon.
called it right away. I feel sorry for him because I think it's a case of Yang was too sharp for him. He's pointing out, look, I didn't see him coming in. I don't think he went out there deliberately to go for the ball
Yeah, none
and
of
try
that
and
matters, though, does it?
No, but look, he's been unlucky there, and the referees had a look at it and decided to send him packing. Big task now.
That's fine, Mark. In 2023, the football rulebook allows you to feel a little bit sorry for James Brown and acknowledge that that's a red card. You can do
100%.
both at the same time.
Of course, because he is going in there to win the ball. He's right. He probably doesn't see Yang. His eyes are on the ball. However, when he misses the ball, the contact is high. So you've got to look at that part. And that's the part the referee sees and has to concentrate on. And it's the right decision, in my opinion.
What it does do is, obviously, makes Ross County's task harder, but only in an attacking sense, Gordon. It's sometimes, for Celtic, they might even need to be even more patient now, because Malky Mackay said before the game, look, if you just sit in the full time, you're just waiting for Celtic to come and break you down. But now he's going to have to do that.
Yeah, the big problem for Ross County will probably be getting up the park trying to get out Gordon. For me, it spoils the game a little bit because they'll sit deep, they'll try and make it very difficult. You're right, Celtic will need to be patient, but they've got the players to be patient. McGregor will take the ball all day long, they'll move players about, and then they'll just try and hit you. And that's unfortunate. There you go. I would go right in there and I'd say to James Brown, I'd have a go at him.
Now, right away,
You're preparing all week in the centre
Jordan
forward.
White,
sacrificed Jordan White.
Sacrificed. Will Nightingale comes on.
But how can you have a go at James Brown? How can you go in and have a go at him?
Because I'm getting subbed after 10 minutes because of him.
I kind of get where you're coming from, because again, we're not arguing. It's a red card, but it's not one that you're saying to him, you're an idiot.
I know. I did say that. I made an excuse.
Why did you not do this differently or that differently? Because
if me as a fullback doesn't try or attempt to tackle Yang when he comes inside, then I tell you what, Malky Mackay's having a go at me if Yang comes in and puts that in the top corner without me challenging him. So it's an unfortunate incident in terms of timing for James Brown, but I don't think you can go in and point the finger at him in the dressing room.
I would go in and say, I've been sent off too, Jamesy.
Do you know what? You would go in and say, by the way, Jamesy, you've done me a treat because I've got my appearance money and I've only played 10 minutes.
Oh, you're
job done.
I'll not even need a shower. Just give me that suit over.
But Jordan White has a terrific record of scoring against Celtic and Rangers, and he's the human sacrifice for James Brown's recklessness. However, in a sense, it increases the pressure on Celtic, because we're talking about the possibility of the manager having prioritised the Champions League over the domestic league and having gone risk strategy with all the changes made. If you'd fail to win against 10 men, that's even worse.
There's a game down south as well, an update from that one which sends shivers down the spine. Bad memories. It says the ball's in the net through Scott McTominay, but VAR rules it out for offside. Just brings it all back.
They can do with all the luck they can get in a minute.
Well, and Scott McTominay is his biggest ally, Eric Ten Hag, because he's saved him on more than one occasion, but all the pressure's on Man U.
Well, it's up to Celtic now to make the advantage count, and they're a tough team to play against when it's 11v11. Their movement is that good, so I'm just trying to look who's went to right back. Randall, maybe? No, is he went to right back for Ross County? But
yes,
yeah, so quick reshuffle. It's going to be a long old afternoon for the Ross County backline, because
it's actually taken the sting out the game overall as well, hasn't it? Like Celtic had started.
Yeah, I thought we were in for a
in the
cracker.
box, and is that going to be a corner? It is. Leak had to defend well. He's still the headline writer's dream, isn't he? Hugh Keevins, a defender called Leak.
I will say this about early on in the game. He's put himself about to great effect, and it's almost as if he's taking a real boost from getting a start.
Corner Celtic again, so again not really a situation where the numerical advantage makes much difference, because I'm sure County just managed to pack that box anyway. Carter Vickers got the header. I thought that did deflect off a County player, but it goes out for a goal kick in the end.
Again, Carter Vickers just getting his timing wrong there, because he was actually ahead of Leak. I think he could have done better. Almost comes off his shoulder, his back. So a decent ball in from Turnbull. But again, situations like that, I think you're right, Gordon. County, I think, will back themselves to defend situations like that. Maybe Celtic with extra man could come up with something a bit different, play it short, move bodies around before throwing it in there.
Sorry, I didn't hear any of that. I'm still watching highlights of your first Celtic goal, because every time I've still not seen it. It just keeps playing on loop, and every time it's about to happen, I focus on the actual game that that we should be watching.
It's a brilliant goal. It's a great run made by the run.
Who is that? Is that?
Do you header it into the ground?
No,
that's what your normal goals.
Is that Efrain Juarez? Who's playing
for
Celtic?
Efrain Juarez.
Wow.
Aye. So we had all the big hitters in that.
He's at right back. You're at centre back.
Aye.
Oh, the glory days.
Always like Beckenbauer that night. Yeah, on a difficult surface. Yep, and gave the side the lead. I'm sure. Bullet header, front post.
You played centre half.
Oh, aye.
And
could play
Aberdeen
anywhere.
Couldn't beat you.
Could play anywhere. They couldn't get the ball
I'd
off
have
us.
sacked the manager.
The memory of your own career is quite atrocious, because you didn't give Celtic the lead. I've just got to I've got to the first goal.
Who scored first?
Gary Hooper.
Did he? Yeah. Well, I just a double delete, I think.
Oh, great.
The second goal's the most important goal.
That kills the game, mate.
Kills the game.
Yeah, I'm with you in that.
Celtic have some defending to do. Jan Danda, regular listeners to the show will know fine well how much Mark Wilson thinks of Jan Danda's set piece delivery.
Honestly, I really like him. I think he's destined for a move up the chain, especially with this delivery he's got. Brilliant. We've seen it midweek as well.
And I'll tell you what, it's
rubbish delivery I've ever seen.
I'll cut you some slack. That wasn't great.
You know what it is with his delivery? He puts everything into it. Pace. It's so difficult for a defender to deal with that. It's an attacker's dream that they just need the slightest glance. And we saw it at Celtic Park early in the season. He took Joe Hart right out the equation into the back post.
I'll tell you, a lovely reverse pass from, was that Leak again, who was up from the back, almost too good in the sense that I don't think his teammates were on the same wavelength, because if they were, that would have been a golden chance for Ross County.
I'll tell you what, that was a chat. He's got to be on his toes. He's got to realise that his teammates got that in his locker. Great reverse pass. Celtic aren't
unfair. Is it a case of you're assuming that Ross County's centre back is not going to produce a reverse pass like that on the edge of the box?
I think you've always got to be on your toes. You get taught that, Gordon. Be aware, be ready, be on your toes, be sharp, be quick. I couldn't get any more words out.
Keep going.
That's it.
What other sayings have you got for that one?
Be quiet.
A decent wee spell there for Ross County.
Celtic have almost dropped out since the red card.
Yeah, strange.
Yeah, the passing's become erratic. But as I say, the red card, while it puts a strain on Ross County, equally a strain on Celtic, because you cannot now come off that park not having taken 3 points against 10 men.
Yeah, Callum McGregor, edge of the box, lines one up, but there are bodies in the way.
I think that's where you're seeing the space. Celtic's so good at working the space in the middle of the pitch, but particularly against 10 men, Callum McGregor, an awful lot of time there. He gets the shot off, but obviously Ross County's got bodies along the 18-yard box, but can he rely on that the full game? Because guys like McGregor will find a space and end up testing your goalkeeper, or worse, into the back of the net.
Right, we've seen enough. Take them off. Get Kyogo on, get O'Reilly.
Yang whips one in, it bounces in front of everyone. No takers, I don't think, from either side, and goes out for a goal kick.
It's a dream situation for guys like Yang and Bernardo now, who the game becomes a lot easier to find space, and you get that extra wee bit of licence to go and take the game to Ross County, rather than being in a real dogfight and it's a struggle. But
they're bound to be more camped in against you, though, aren't
they?
Yeah,
I was going to argue that point. I think Mark's wrong there.
No, let's not revisit this totally, because this was the debate a few weeks ago. Remember when you claimed that it was harder to play against 10 than 11?
Look, I'm talking about you. Mark's talking there about you'll get more space. You remember the minute Ross County have lost the ball, they try to get everybody behind it.
That's a great pass and a good run, Dyson Maida, but he slips, I think, as he tried to cut inside. Yeah, I don't think there's any real complaints about any infringement there. Slick surface up in Dingwall, still quite foggy up there. Looks like an interesting day in the Highlands. Celtic, as you would expect.
Gabs will be in a pod tonight in the Highlands. He will not get back down that road.
Oh, he's had a tough week. He was at Dens, of course, on Thursday morning.
Has he stayed up for that neck of the woods?
As the case turned out to be. What time did that game finish? About 11 o'clock?
Yeah.
Did he stay over?
I don't know.
No.
Gabs is always somewhere. See, you look at his Instagram.
Right.
He's always.
I think he was north of here.
He's
last
only
night.
reporter that carries a tent.
Celtic camped on the edge of Ross
like
County's box. Do you like that? But it's a slack one.
But that's
from
been
Paulo
the story.
Bernardo.
The passing's been very erratic.
Let's say this, I'm not as convinced with Bernardo as some Celtic fans have been after his performance against Atletico Madrid. I think he came on and he looked busy enough.
Callum McGregor outside the box, good save.
What's a great save.
What did I say about McGregor? You leave him time, he'll work your goalkeeper.
I think that's a terrific save, I've got to say, because I think he sees that late. He gets across, that right arm out, puts it by for a goal kick. They're knocking at the door. They'll certainly come in soon.
I've never heard that saying before. That was packaged together quite nicely. They're knocking at the door.
They will come in
They
soon.
will come in
That's
soon.
a good ball.
That was a big chance
Good
there.
ball, David Turnbull, and I think it's who flashes the header over the top.
He should have done better. He's got the space.
Hugh, you've just got a bee in your bonnet with him. I think that's unlucky. I really do. I think
You've got a bee in your bonnet the other way.
No, but you've got to give the lad a chance. You look at, he's getting his shirt pulled first and foremost. He gets in front of defender.
What is the bar for that then? Because you see the Man United Man City game, and the penalty given for that, and
I think the way they tend to look at it is, does the pull stop you getting to the ball? Because ultimately, if every shot pull, we'd be here all day.
10 penalties a game.
So take who was it again that was trying to burst through? Rodri, was it?
Might have been.
It was.
Like the pull stops him getting to where he was trying to get to get to the ball. Olayer's probably a victim of getting a really clean contact on it, and therefore the question in the ref's head is probably, does the pull do anything? Does it put him off? Still, you're lucky then, because you're taking a chance if you're a Ross County player, for sure.
Yeah, you know what? I would hate to be defending nowadays, because
it's one of those. If Ola decides to kind of stop, throw his arms up in the air, and say that he's.
Were you a shirt puller, Mark? In the
of course
box?
I was.
Were you?
Well, name a defender or a player who isn't when it gets that close contact, because so much is riding on it. You're told, as a manager, you would have told all your players, do not drop any runners in the box. That's your responsibility. So you do anything to get the advantage. So now that the microscope's on you, I think if you froze every kind of corner kick, you would see it going on with every player. It's just to what extent, or how much somebody gets to march on you, how quick they are to get away from you.
I think, like I say, the position of the ball is important, because are you preventing someone from getting the ball? But anyway, 23 and a half gone. Ross County down to 10 men. They have been for the last 15 minutes or so, but still no breakthrough. Probably a Callum McGregor shot from outside the box is about as close as we've come.
Yeah, apart from the Scales goal taken away by VAR. But we're at that stage where Celtic are kind of making it labour intensive, all bit hard work. But Callum McGregor just broke the monotony, and here's another chance.
I think they'll be fine with us. Again, it doesn't automatically mean when somebody goes down to 10 men you score the minute after. I think you just need to be patient. These Celtic players are well drilled in being patient.
Patience? What's that?
David Turnbull just went a bit early. There was a flighted ball from Cameron Carter-Vickers.
Correct decision. Turnbull thought was excellent against St Mirren. I thought unlucky with obviously the penalty. That getting 2 goals makes it so much better. He's come in for a little bit of stick off the Celtic fans, but I just say, and I've said it again, Turnbull has got a very good footballing brain. He's a terrific player for me, and he's got a good opportunity today as well.
It's just not going to go anywhere, this discussion, is it, Mark? I had a look again today. Teams announced, click on replies on Twitter, and numerous Celtic fans with attempts at different forms of humour, whether it be some sort of meme or some sort of sarcastic comment, not Turnbull again sort of thing. So then he scores, sticks his fingers in his ears. Elements of the Celtic fans don't like that, and on we go.
Well, again, I'm with Daz. I just don't see why he merits the level of criticism he's getting from some quarters. And it's quite often Twitter or X or whatever we're calling it now, those minorities sometimes have the loudest voices because they put it out there and people jump in the bandwagon and people automatically think, oh, Turnbull must be a bad player. But you look at his stats and when he's come in, the goals he's scored, the part he's played, how Postecoglou and Brendan Rodgers have liked him. Now he's had injuries in the periods as well, so I just don't get it. I just don't get the stick the boy gets.
They picked on Greg Taylor for a while as well, social media, and Greg Taylor's been a terrific signing for Celtic, and some of them, the hard of understanding are
I don't know, at the same time you're entitled to your opinion, aren't you? If you don't think a player's cutting it for you, then
but if it's based on something other than football, I object to it.
What do you mean? How is it based on anything other than football?
They don't regard, or they did not regard Taylor as a proper Celtic man, and it's the same for Turnbull.
That's a heck of a leap. How do you know? What do you mean?
That is my opinion. That is the way he responded.
To be fair,
Turnbull responded.
Let's take Greg Taylor, because we've now looked at the journey. Greg Taylor's performances weren't at a good Celtic level at the beginning, and now they are. So what's being a Celtic man got to do with it?
What happened to giving him time and all the other stuff that you say about players?
But we've just said it. No one's patient, especially on social media. But it's a heck of a leap to psychoanalyse every fan and say that it's because he's not a Celtic man.
I'm not saying every fan, not
any of them though.
Well, it's my leap and I've taken it.
I think you've just fallen flat in your coop.
But with Turnbull, again, maybe he's a victim of the position he plays. When you play for Celtic, we all know that the positions the money will be splashed on is your front three and creative players in the middle of the pitch. And again, I'll go back to it. Some people with more glamorous surnames from a different country may get the time that Hugh says. Now, Turnbull's been there for a while now, but the body of work that he can actually show in the goals he's scored I think he should be held in better regard from
I
sections
don't
of the
know if
fans.
that's the case, because Hatati's out, right? Everybody knows he's injured, so somebody's got to come in there, right?
Great ball.
From scrambled away, good delivery, David Turnbull. Liam Scales, it was again causing most of the trouble, but I think it was hacked clear in the end.
Scales is as good as I've seen at Celtic for a while. That kind of response to corner kicks, I always thought that they were lacking in that way. He's had a goal disallowed today and he did well there. He's a presence there.
To revisit that, you still think that was wrong to disallow that Liam Scales goal?
Yes.
Yeah, just double checking where he all stand on it. Couldn't remember.
I thought it was a very, very soft foul on White.
Yeah, I thought.
Here is Liam Scales from distance. It feels like every time Celtic get a shot from the edge of the box, County are in a position to block it. I feel like we've had a few incidents like that, and it tells you, Mark, the territory, because Liam Scales has had one, so's Cameron Carter-Vickers, not even from far out, from the sort of edge of the box.
Yeah, well, Simon Murray's 40 yards from his own goal, and he's the first line of defence, so pretty much tells you what the Ross County backline's up against. Now, the more you do that, the deeper you sit. Listen, Celtic have got clever players who will then find a wee gap just to play a pass around the corner. So I know you're down to 10 men, but you need to squeeze up a bit better.
And plus the fact you need an out ball, Mark, just to take you up the park a little bit. Simon Murray's doing a lot of work across the pitch, but getting no joy. It's got to be a long day.
There's a training ground one for Celtic, and it's smashed over the bar by Paulo Bernardo. It was a good move. Turnbull has a lot of corner practice. This one's drilled low, just outside the penalty spot. It is probably bobbling a bit if we give Bernardo a bit of a break, but he's got to do a bit better.
I think Bernardo does. By the way, I think that's a great ball from Turnbull. I know you're saying it's bobbling, but I think just when it gets to Bernardo, it just sits down nicely. Listen, it's a hard one to take when it's coming across your body, it's going away for you, but he's got to keep that down there. Well worked move. I sound like David Turnbull's agent here, by the way.
Yeah.
Do you know what we
percentages coming?
I think we overlooked from the previous attack. We couldn't see it initially. It wasn't immediately clear, but when that ball did come in, it ended up being a really good save from Ross Laidlaw.
From Scales' header.
I think did it deflect off someone after Liam Scales?
I'm not sure it did go.
It did too. I just watched it, and that's why Gordon's brought it
There's
up.
Dyson Maida in the box. Sam have got a goal in.
I wonder who
Dingwall.
that is.
No, we haven't.
Oh no,
Do we not? Well, I pressed the button.
Get the button.
Again.
I like that.
yes, we have.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
It's Ross County 0, Celtic 1, and puts the ball in the back of the net. Half an hour on the clock, and it is a breakthrough for Celtic against the 10 men of Ross County.
Well, it was coming. They were getting deeper and deeper. It's a ball over the top. Oh, this is tight. Maida, I tell you what, it's a terrific ball from Maida. He just lays it on a plate. Is desperate to get in there.
They'll take a look, as well, they always do, check every goal, don't they? There will be a question mark over whether Dyson Maida is offside from the through ball, but let's be honest, how many times do you get that wrong? That's the whole point. The naked eye is not meant to be able to tell, so we'll see.
Well, hi, let's pick apart the goals. Brilliant, by the way, from Bernardo. Great touch. He knows exactly what's in Maeda's head. Over the top, Maeda's onto it. And great striker play. Holds his position in the middle of the goal. Desperate to go on it. Slides and puts in the back of the net. But we're taking a wee bit of time over this. So
I think they're going to chalk it off.
You think he's strayed?
It's tight. I think it's tight.
Did you look on the far side? I was drawn to the defender that's closest to Maida. Yeah, he's fine on that far side.
I don't know. Is that knee? I think from that angle we are looking at, I think his right knee looks like it could be.
This is the point. The naked eye isn't able to tell. That's why they'll draw the lines. That's why Hawkeye will give an answer. But it is a weight that tells you that it's close.
I think they chalk it off.
You may well be right.
They're just standing at the entrance of the house. They're ready to come in.
Just unlocking the door.
You've got a hand on the handle.
Better open the lines. Open the lines now for the callers.
They're coming in.
If the lines are there, yeah. I mean, it's the length of time again.
Must be really tight.
Does it take that long to get the lines?
It's not always that, 'cause you have to make sure there's not another infringement in the attacking phase of play.
Here he goes.
No
Offside.
goal, offside. Ross County 0, Celtic 0. The goal does not stand. Dyson Maida was offside when the ball was played through.
What a call for me, the old right knee. There you are.
Yeah.
Just So Harmon, the most relieved man in there, because he knows that's his job today. He knows Maeda's going to run over the top, and he knows he's not going to match him. But what he has to be brave about is his line, and holding his line and hoping situations like that happen, that he just strays too soon. So Ross County defender maybe should take a wee bit of credit there. Maeda just needs to learn that he's got 5 yards on him, so he doesn't need to go early.
Yeah, bit of a let off for Ross County, but I suppose that is what the technology is there for. That's Malky Mackay's take on it, I'm sure. Ross County 0, Celtic 0, County down to 10 men.
And now we've got another controversy.
33-minute mark.
Celtic players complaining they feel that Nightingale has elbowed Liam Scales.
Yeah, ball's just going to go up. Ooh. Yeah, there's certainly an arm.
No, his arm's up.
Yeah.
His eyes are firmly on the ball, but
caught him in the chops.
Yeah, a bit of a sore one.
It doesn't look clever, does it?
No, it does not.
No.
Especially when you lead like that. He's got a long time to jump into Scales.
I don't think he's getting anywhere near the ball as well, Mark, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but it's play on. We're underway again.
We've got plenty of talking points. That's good.
Well, there were 2 goals disallowed, 1 red card, and that was a bad challenge for me on Liam Scales, but we're playing on.
Yeah, you don't give bookings, of course, from VAR. I don't know, is that probably just below what you would expect for a red?
Probably. You know, it's more probably the forearm that catches Scales in the face. If it's probably a few inches,
okay,
yeah, a few inches further down the arm to the elbow, then you're in trouble. But no, it didn't look clever at all.
Yeah, a few talking points, no goals though yet. Celtic have had the ball in the back of the net twice, but none of them have stood so far, and on we go. Malky Mackay, I'm sure Gordon, as he enters the last 10 plus of this first half, just wants to get back in at level at the break and take it from there.
Yeah, I think he'll get in. If he does get in at the break 0-0, I think he would need to look at tweaking 1 or 2 wee things, Gordon, because if this continues, it's just a matter of time when Celtic are going to score. There's no doubt in that. It's very difficult because you've only got that 10 men. You just wonder how you're going to have an outball. That's
no. We'll file that under ambitious from Paulo Bernardo. We've all been there. You're in the corner of the box and you just think it's wise to take a random crack at goal, even though you're off balance and it's never on and it goes well wide. Yeah, I struggle to see what he's thinking there, particularly when Celtic have worked it all the way out to him, and just to kind of should just take a touch and go back the other way there. I don't know what he's thinking. Maybe a wee bit desperate from him. Again, Bernardo, he's certainly not got anywhere near the quality of Hatate in that role. I think he's still got a lot to prove. Such early days for him though, isn't it? Not only in his Celtic career but in his career generally. In his development, of course it is, but I think everyone's probably a victim of the fact that Reo Hatate and his pal Kyogo and some of the others took absolutely no time. That's just you kind of assume that everybody can do it. You just wonder if Celtic don't score before half time, you wonder if Bernardo and Yang will come under threat of not being around very much longer in the second half, because Celtic will need to dig out a goal from somewhere. They've been unfortunate. I think both goals I think were unfortunate, but were both disallowed. Bit of footwork down the left as it's crossed in for Celtic. And Ralston thought about gambling then, didn't he? Probably should have, because it allows Ross County to come and clear. Celtic will get a throw in. It's going to be relentless pressure now for the remaining 10 minutes. Again, we've been there before where you're just thinking we've done well up until this point. Can we hold out for the next 10 minutes? Nutmeg from Turnbull. Brilliant. And he's still got it. It's poked across, saved by the feet of Ross Laidlaw. Good run that by David Turnbull. It probably was just about out with his reach to get any more purchase in the finish. A little bit unlucky. Good play with Celtic once again, getting in behind the Ross County's defence, but good goalkeeping. Good
Laidlaw,
goalkeeping.
Man of the match so far, hasn't he? He's made three decent stops so far. One for McGregor, one for the Scales deflected one, that one there. Celtic are turning the screw here a bit, but David Turnbull is just crowded out in the box this time. There's a lot just relentless. It's just coming back all the time. That's what I'm saying. If Malky does get in at half time, I think he's got to look at how can we try and get up this pitch, because Turnbull's ball in, and is that another save from Ross Laidlaw? Yep. Is that Bernardo? I think he should score. Yeah. There. That's a great ball.
You're right on Bernardo the day, aren't you?
Especially the way you ordered it.
If that's Bernardo.
Is that Bernardo? Well, then he should definitely score.
He should definitely. Well, whoever it was.
But if it's then
he's
we'll let him away with
unlucky.
it.
Yeah. Bernardo should
You need
score
to be
there.
careful, Mark Wilson.
Yeah, Bernardo bias, we'll call that. No, it's a great ball. Good run. Actually, I'll give him credit for his run. Maybe just didn't get the contact. We'll see it back, but just did not get the contact he needed. But I like that for Bernardo, getting beyond and getting into those positions that he can score, much like O'Reilly has done this season. That's what he has to replicate.
This is wave after wave now of Celtic attack, and it's like every Ross County player pretty much in and around the 18-yard box that's slipped into the box and tried to stay alive. Taylor can't get there.
Desperate defending
Wow.
from Ross County here.
That's quite something.
Yeah, Celtic's just flooding bodies forward and, runners off the ball. But look, credit to Ross County. They're defending across that 18-yard line. A strict 5 right there, trying to make it difficult.
Yeah, Carter Vickers has seen a lot of the ball. Because of that, he's allowed to kind of drive forward and try and pick passes, and not always easy. And then that will be frustrating for Malky Mackay, because as soon as County win it back, they lose it again. Great play by Odo, you have to say, Gordon, there to show good industry.
He's working very hard. He's a bit unlucky with the goal, obviously. Maida just strayed that little bit offside. He does put a shift in, you've got to say that about him. It is Bernardo, and I
should have scored.
100%, Hugh. 100% he should score. But give
It
credit.
was so close
See,
to him,
be
though,
fair,
isn't he?
I was going to say, give credit to goalkeeper. He made himself very big.
Yeah,
He come out, spread himself.
Where is Bernardo automatically supposed to slot that
I think
as a first time finish?
I think you've got a great opportunity. 9 out of 10 you put that in the back of the net for
The
me.
goalkeeper does well. You just don't give goalkeepers credit.
I
ever.
do. I've sung the praise
It's
of
like you
Laidlaw.
use all your love up on referees, and
yeah.
you refuse to give goalies the credit.
I've
that
never
they're due.
been a great goalkeeping fan. I've had a few
That's
in
what
my
I'm saying,
day,
you're
but
biased.
I've never liked any of them.
Paulo Bernardo with the foul on Allardyce, and Ross County will be delighted about that, because it just allows the pressure to come off at a time when really it's been wave after wave of Celtic attack. Not a lot in that, is there?
No, not at all. Got the
Has to
ball.
be said.
Malky Mackay must be delighted. After 9 minutes, 30 minutes, he's held it. Now Laidlaw's got a lot to thank his goalkeeper for, but he'll be happy. He'll just be looking at his watch, just thinking, how can we get in? What is the game plan going forward? Do I make changes? But he has to tick off little sections as they come, and if he gets to half time, it's a big milestone.
Yeah, it certainly is. But as I keep saying, they'll need to try and find some
Clearances
solution.
right to Celtic's defensive players are not going to help. Simon Murray's very frustrated because it's nowhere near him when it goes up the pitch, and there will be more than 45 minutes for sure. Celtic have had 2 goals ruled out, remember, and there was a red card, so a couple of VAR checks already. You would imagine at least, 3 or 4. We'll see how we go.
So is he sending off 9 minutes?
Yeah, 9-10 minutes.
Jordan
something like
White's actually walked in his house now. His wife's gone, I thought you were working.
And that's the bit, Mark, where it has to be patient and it can't be forced. Liam Scales trying to cross like a straight ball. If you can cross a straight ball, I don't know if you can, but
Yeah.
From far out as well, it's going to have to be prime Beckham to reach the intended recipient.
It's difficult, particularly when Ross County are defending on the 18-yard line. So you're giving your striker an awful lot of work to try and run in between the 18-yard line and the 6-yard line to get onto that when you put so much pace on it. So it's never going to be the case. You have to work it into better areas if you're going to flip things in. Much like Turnbull's one, they work it to the edge of the box, and it's an in-swinging cross that's always curling towards the back post.
Don't think Maida's going to keep that one in. He's actually slipped a couple of times out on that right hand side, but that was a heavy
You'd be
pass.
shouting as an old school manager, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah,
Get the studs
Have
on.
you got studs on?
exactly. I would be checking his studs at half time. He'd
Always
have
had
the
the
moldies.
fear.
He's
Always
got
had the
moldies
fear.
on.
It was Morris Malpass that always put that fear into me as a youth coach. Just shout at me, have you got studs on? So every game, every single game, I'd wear studs as a defender.
You don't get boots now that you get the old stud thing and then Vaseline on the stud and you go and tighten up. Do you get them now?
But what a lot of players do now, I believe, is they get them sort of custom made.
Then the cobblers
Well,
get them
do
shaved
they?
off,
Quite, so
shaved the studs off.
it might be like a combination of like some molded studs and some some metal
Oh,
studs,
right.
and some of them are very particular about where the metal stud is and all that sort of stuff.
And the place
I know
of
you
the
guys
boot.
would have had that. You get
Small
a bit
ones,
more like
we
just drill
used-
a hole and screw them in.
No, we used to put long ones in the back
Yeah.
and small ones in the front for the balance.
For the balance. Who told you that?
Well, you think about it, you go forward in the small
That's
ones
why
in the
you've got
front.
a foot problem. You were telling us
Oh,
about.
well, the lady recognised it right away. Goal
Yeah, have you been
scorer.
down at the old Chiropodist, have you?
No, I was at the hospital. Linda up at the hospital. Wishaw recognised it right away. She went, "You're a prolific
Podiatrist.
goal scorer, weren't you?"
Did you say that was so like your right foot, is it more
Yeah,
damaged than
yeah,
the left one?
because of the way I used to curl the ball, and she recognised that right
How
away.
do you curl the ball when all your goals were from 4 yards
Well, you
out?
still got to hit the side of the ball. I says, Linda, I think you've got a great point there.
Linda's talking nonsense. Linda's never watched a game of football in her life.
Linda's no daft. She's googled you before you've come in
no,
and given you all the
You know,
sales
the chat, or the foot chat.
She heard me come along the corridor.
Ross County 0, Celtic 0, County down to 10 men. Dies and Maida, that's a frustrating one because he's slack and then does that thing that you daft attackers do, goes chasing after it and bundles the defender over.
Yeah,
Or
it's
just totally
frustrating.
allows Ross County off the hook.
Yeah, Malky will be absolutely delighted with it. We'll just be waiting to see how many minutes are added on the first, because he will be over the moon if he gets in here 0-0.
Head knock to Simon Murray. There, referee just checking him out. Has he gave a free kick to Ross County here? Yep.
Ooh.
Do you know
there is an arm round that comes after that, I guess, catches him from Liam Scales. Nothing up with the initial challenge.
Do you know, I think Scales has been terrific since he went in, but the one thing I've noticed about him, and I don't know if Mark picks up, see every time the ball's coming into that area on the right hand side of the defender, Scales comes right across and
Crosses
goes
over.
Didn't he?
Yeah.
That's
a bit, yeah.
Instead of letting the centre half, there's
chances.
a chance. Oh, good tackle.
Timed
That
up
is
perfectly, and he needed a Carter
Simon
Vickers.
Murray, Ross County have not been able to attack at all. Simon Murray burst into the box. There was a leg out from Carter Vickers. Murray went down, but if the lack of protests are anything to go by, it looks like Carter Vickers got that bang on.
Oh, he needed to, because Simon Murray does well to get through. He just looks like he's going to take another touch to get past Carter Vickers. But
it's great defending.
it's a great tackle, yeah. And that's what he brings to the team. He's so difficult in 1v1s. He's so difficult to get past Carter Vickers. I know he's aerial, his aerial duels is very commanding, but 1v1s he's quick.
6 minutes added on in the first half in Dingwall, as we said. That's fairly predictable. There was the red card, the 2 Celtic goals, so it was bound to be something in that region.
Long day for the 10 men of Ross County. If the first half lasts 51 minutes, and you've got another 45 and then some to come.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I
Malky
can see-
Mackay's just barking some instructions. He'll be desperate to get in because there's been backs to the wall stuff for the vast majority of this half, it has to be said.
an old teammate of mine out there helping them, Scott Thompson. He's not aged well, but
And the goalie.
yeah,
Ah.
saved the penalty kick. Yeah,
Did you not like him either?
no, he's not aged well. He's a bit boring.
Doesn't like any goalies, basically.
No.
Do you think he thinks you've aged well?
Yeah, I think a lot of people. I'm going to the Wraith Hall of Fame, and I think I've got a lot of
Tonight?
compliments. No, next couple of weeks, I think. Big attraction. I
What do you
think
do there?
I'll probably just say a few words, talk about my career and
Well, that'll be good.
the glory days.
What a treat.
it's-
What a night that'll be.
It
People going along.
starts on Monday and it finishes Tuesday night.
How much can you milk a League Cup final win?
Very, very much so. and I
Bear in mind,
think
just one. Just one.
about
Because
being a
we're not done
skipper
with
and
this, are we?
scoring a goal
Because
and
so why are
everything.
you going this year? Because next year's the big anniversary, of course. You'll need to do it again.
Always a chance.
I might not go next year. No, I might not go this year. You've just
30th
put us.
anniversary next year.
Is it?
Is it?
30 years? No.
What do you mean no? Do you not know how time works? What year was it?
94.
Right, for you,
The clue
you're
is
32
in-
when you scored that.
I don't know.
honestly,
30
years ago. I was born
and you're
in
60 what?
62.
64. Yeah.
Born in 62. 94. Yeah.
Wow, what a paper round you had. I've just had images of that goal. So when you scored, you're younger than me now when you scored that goal.
That's
amazing. What
Looks
I
like
want-
40.
That's amazing.
Are you kidding on?
In that clip where you score it,
Yeah.
With your famous goal. You're younger than I am now in that clip.
Yeah, no, look a lot
No,
younger.
you don't.
It shows how
tough people
people's
around.
diets and the way they live life nowadays is much better than it was back in the 90s.
Incredible.
Because if you were an athlete in comparison to just your average person out
Joe,
there,
David Turnbull shoots, stings the palms of Ross Laidlaw. I think probably in the category of save he should make, but still, it's still another decent one, Gordon, one that he has to be there.
Yeah, it is. Concentration, Turnbull's got that in his locker, but his positioning was good and he got away with safety, but Celtic come again.
Yeah, Celtic in the box again, fired across. You wonder how long this resistance can keep up. Ross County only need to do another 3 minutes of the first half.
yep, well, another attempt, another Laidlaw save, probably about, he's up to 5 or something like that in the first half. It's always going to be the case when you're playing against a side like this and it's coming at you time and time again. Celtic just have to probably create something a wee bit more clear cut than attempts from the edge of the box. I've not seen them play through, and I know it's incredibly difficult because Ross County are blocking all the gaps, but like
Great.
that there, just like that though, they almost get in.
Yeah, it was a really ambitious through ball from Callum McGregor and he almost made it. It was just, again, possibly on the slightly too ambitious side. Yang just couldn't get on it, just fired a bit too much, and Yang collides slightly with the keeper. Ross County players are not happy, but what's Yang supposed to do with that?
Yeah, we've seen the Turnbull chance again, Gordon. Yeah, it's a good effort from Turnbull, but you'd expect Laidlaw, especially in
moves though a bit.
Yeah, but especially in the form so far in the first half, you'd expect him to save that. Good save.
Even parrying it away to safety is important, isn't it? Because we see it's all right making that initial save, but you've got to get it
from danger. It's what they work on probably most days in training. But the Ross County goalkeeper being in top form this afternoon, some of those saves in there are you'd expect him to make, obviously. But the one Daz is right for Callum McGregor. I think he sees it late down to his right hand side. The one for Bernardo from 6 yards out, he's brave. He anticipates that ball coming over the top. So those two have been very good. Celtic just looking to get ahead here. Another ball across the face from Maeda. Can't direct and target.
I think Ross County have defended those balls really well, haven't they?
They've been, yeah.
Because O gets there, and credit to him, but it's so hard to do much with it because the defender matches him.
Well, there's contact always, or close to contact. They're in the right position. They've brought Nightingale on to make it a 3 across the back. So Celtic have to come up with something a wee bit special. They can't just rely on O up there against 3 centre halves. They have to actually try and work the ball in between them.
What they'll come up with is Kyogo.
Nah, I don't think it'll be that time yet, Hugh.
I would leave O on for now. In the second half, yeah.
There's
I would
absolutely
leave
nothing wrong with this performance. This isn't one of those where you think, Celtic will never score. They might not, but it's not given that impression yet.
No, not at all. As I say, they keep champing at that door. Eventually it will open.
You said that half an hour ago.
Yeah, but the game's 90 plus minutes, Hugh. It's not just half an hour.
One last chance maybe for Celtic if they can just get it edge at the table.
What a block that is.
Ross County's shot blocking has been really impressive.
He threw everything at it there, Baldwin.
Celtic need to get this in the box because the whistle is going to go. I suppose it's hard to know that for sure. David Turnbull thinks about it and then goes again, and it is in the back of the net this time.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
No finger in the ears this time, but David Turnbull's highlights reel as a Celtic goal scorer gets another addition with 51 minutes on the clock. Lines it up from distance. How many times have we seen him do that? Finds the bottom corner, and it's Ross County 0, Celtic 1.
How's that knocking at the door now, Hugh?
Yes.
I think it's opened.
They're in now. But he deserves it for perseverance, if nothing else. He's at the 2 or 3 attempts at goal, and Laidlaw has, I think, been victim of a slight nick when it leaves Turnbull's boot.
No, he's not. No, he's not. He's absolutely buried that.
Entirely down to David Turnbull, and he deserves it more than any other player in the park.
That baffles me, Celtic supporters at times. It really does.
It must be murder to only be able to score screamers.
Look, he's got that in his locker. He's brilliant at it. He produces it all the time.
Half time in Dingwall. Here's Gabriel.
Half time and it's Ross County 0, Celtic 1. David Turnbull's brilliant strike on the stroke of the interval giving them the advantage. Despite having the ball in the back of the net twice, it looked like Celtic wouldn't come in without a goal. The 10 men of Ross County had been defending resolutely, but eventually the deadlock was broken. The Celtic's first disallowed goal came very early on. Liam Scales turned the ball in. It was a foul against Owen. The build-up seemed quite soft, and then just 10 minutes in came a crucial moment. Right back James Brown was sent off for County. A late challenge on Yang. Initially it was a booking, upgraded to a red after David Munro went over to the monitor. It didn't seem malicious, but Brown could have no complaints. Celtic had the ball in the back of the net again after half an hour. A really well-worked goal it looked like. Paolo Bernardo with a lovely ball over the top to Daza Maida. Cut it across to O, who slid the ball in. However, after a long check, it was proved that Maida went slightly too early and was just offside. But Celtic started to turn the screw in the final 15 minutes there. And there were several strong saves from Ross Laidlaw, from Callum McGregor, from Paolo Bernardo, from David Turnbull. County offering very little going forward, but they looked like they were going to be happy going in at half-time until Turnbull had his second effort. We've seen him do it so many times over the years for Celtic. Gets the ball out on his right foot, strikes the ball just along the deck and inside that far post. The league leaders will feel that they deserve to be in front. They had several chances, but they did struggle to break down that County defence. Malcolm McCarthy kicking himself that he is not currently holding on to a point. They're going to have to change something in the second half, County, if they want to try and get something out of this game. As I said, they've had nothing going forward, but Celtic are now going to be in full control in this second half. They already made changes going into the game. They'll probably have another eye on that Madrid tie on Tuesday now. But as I said, Gordon, thanks to David Turnbull on the stroke of the interval. Half-time here it is. Ross County 0, Celtic 1.
Well, it's a deserved lead for Celtic. There were 2 goals disallowed and 1 is allowed to stand. But David Turnbull, let's be honest, it's one of a succession of terrific goals he has scored from distance for Celtic. I thought Ross Laidlaw was going to defy him all afternoon long, but it's a magnificent strike. But what a body blow for Malky Mackay, the Ross County manager. They have defended like men possessed for 41 minutes, having been reduced to 10 men very early on when James Brown was sent off, deservedly, but sent off. And he thought he was in the dressing room. He had 1 foot in the dressing room, and then David Turnbull scored, and now it's an entirely different matter for Ross County.
Yeah, it changes those team talks. David Turnbull, the difference maker in Dingwall, and we'll look back on that first half next.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard with Call Robert Accident Repair. Accident not your fault? You'll be back on the road within 24 hours. The winning team all season long. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Half-time in Dingwall, it's Ross County 0, Celtic 1. County down to 10 men early on when James Brown was sent off for a heavy challenge on Yang. Celtic knocked at the door. Liam Scales had the ball in the net. That one was ruled out. O had the ball in the net. That one was ruled out for offside. And then finally, the man who makes shooting from distance look very easy, David Turnbull, found the bottom corner from range, and that does separate the sides. Let's start with the goal that does make the difference at the break. Gordon Dalziel, it's just kind of what David Turnbull does. There's clearly a lot of debate at the moment among Celtic fans about what he doesn't do, but that bit's never in doubt.
I think he's one of the best in the business at it, Gordon, I've got to say. If you go back to David Turnbull throughout his Motherwell career and Celtic, he scores some absolute crackers. Even the other night against St Mirren, takes it. The one thing that he's good at is he does it early. Now, Laidlaw's been terrific today. His positional play's been very good, and he's saved Ross County on a few occasions. But Turnbull takes that ball and he hits it so quick. Laidlaw can't adjust, and that's what he's very, very good at. And it catches the goalkeeper out. It was coming. I think Malky, as I think Hugh quite rightly says, is the opposition manager. You're down to 10 men. You're desperate for that half-time whistle to blow. Getting in 0-0. You're getting in there with a good team talk, a positive one, try to tweak 1 or 2 wee things, get you up the park. But all of a sudden, that team talk's reversed because you're now chasing the game. You're 1-0 down against a Celtic team that's totally dominating.
Yeah, listen, on Turnbull, he's terrific at that. You know, from a Ross County perspective, I think Malky Mackay will be saying, look, one guy in that midfield that you want to close down for 20 yards is David Turnbull, so he'll be disappointed in that. But Turnbull terrific at hitting the target. For any young midfielder looking to practice, on shooting, you look at that guy, because it doesn't just come coincidentally. He'll practice that every day in training. Now, he's up to 5 goals for the season. That's the guy that's getting criticised every week. Up to 5 goals. That's the same as Kyogo. It's one behind O'Reilly. You look down the league, the same as Sima, Vassell. So his return's good, and he's equalled his return from last year. Now, he only had 5 goals last year, but when you look at him in the previous couple of seasons, he's got to that kind of 10 figure that you would want your midfielders to get to. So he's well on track. And again, I can't understand the stick he gets when he produces moments like that.
Couple of big talking points, if we go through them in order. He says, without being able to remember whether Liam Scales' goal or the red card came first.
Red card came first.
Let's go red card then. So James Brown, heavy tackle on Yang, free kick, no doubt about it. Yellow card came out straight away, no complaints. Then on VAR review, recommendation made that the ref check the monitor, and he upgrades his decision to a red. Any complaints?
None at all. It's been Yang's main contribution to the match. He's taken a whack from James Brown, and James Brown deservedly shown the red card. Other than that, I don't think Yang's done very much at all.
Look, I can't really disagree, but I feel sorry for the defender. He doesn't see Yang. Yang's just too quick for him. I don't think he goes in there with any malice to hurt Yang. He just catches him. Modern day game. Referee looks at it. Red card. No complaint.
Yeah, no one asks about intention, Mark. It's not in the rule. There are boxes that if they are ticked means it's a red. There is a box which says endangering an opponent. There's another one that says excessive force.
Yeah.
They seem pretty straightforward when you assess that criteria.
Yeah, I think so. I think the height he catches Yang, obviously the force behind the tackles is always going to be there from the pace he slides in it. He is trying to play the ball. I feel bad for him, but with the letter of the law, yeah, red card.
Okay, then Liam Scales thought he had opened the scoring. That goal was ruled out. This is perhaps the extra sort of frustrating one, because remember, they're not, and this is the bit that really frustrates me, you and everybody about VAR. They're not just checking, is that goal good? They're checking, has the ref made a clear and obvious error? So I think the ref, unless Gabriel corrects me from the ground, I think the ref rules out the goal. They're then checking, is that a clear and obvious error? So it almost becomes a different discussion. Is it a bad enough mistake that you overturn it and you award the goal?
It's an error for me insofar as the defender has gone down as if he'd been poleaxed. There is next to no contact, and I think the referee has bought one from the Ross County defender.
I wonder if it's the opposite way round.
This is the problem with VAR, because that becomes a different conversation, unfortunately.
Yeah, if it's the opposite way round and it's that goes down under that challenge from Jordan White, would the referee?
Oh, right, sorry, I thought you meant.
Would the referee have awarded the penalty and would it have been overturned? So I'm with you. There's little to no contact. White goes down easily, so I think Celtic could have felt hard done by. But on your point, Gordon, does it reach the bar that is that much of a howler? Well, obviously in the interpretation of VAR, then no, they allowed the referee's decision to stand, and I think that's the thing that fans find difficult to understand.
Well, again, that stuff is a nonsense in some regards. Well, it's the bit that just really frustrates people, just on a basic level. Gordon, forget what decision was made when and what the bar or the clear and obvious, all that stuff. Forget all that. Let's just talk as simple terms. Should that goal have stood for you?
Yeah, I think there's always contact in the box. I think they did Clyde. I think the Jordan White, if I was Malcolm Mackay, I'm delighted with him. He goes down, he gives the referee a decision to make. But I think Mark made a great point. If it was reversed and it was opened down, would it have been a penalty kick? No, it wouldn't, in my opinion. So I think that goal should have stood.
What about I was going to say, what about the other one? Don't have to like it, don't have to enjoy it. You can be frustrated at the delay. You can even have a whinge about the camera angle. That's just why we paid for the technology. Unfortunately, you've got no real option. The cameras are calibrated. Hawkeye is a multi-million, billion-pound piece of company, and if they say that that's offside, you just not much you can do, Hugh.
VAR deals in body parts, and he's offside by a cartilage. But that's enough to.
I'd be alright because I've got none.
That's enough nowadays. I mean, Maeda, as I say, it's a body part decision, and it's a terrific ball across, and sticks it away well. But by today's VAR, it's offside.
I think on that one, I think each of us before the lines were drawn
kind of thought it might have been off anyway.
Maeda's close, so I don't think there's any argument.
Again, you don't have to enjoy it. I don't really enjoy it myself because it takes so long and all the rest of it. But our VAR actually does only give offside if there is a bit of daylight. So this notion that it was a kind of hair on his knee, it won't be. It just might, you might not be able to tell that from the footage, the footage or the image. But there will be a bit of daylight. There has to be for Hawkeye to tell you that it's off. Anyway, Celtic lead. Gabriel, any changes at the break?
Not for Celtic, Gordon. They've been out for a while actually. That's about 3 minutes just knocking the ball about here, but there's going to be a few changes for Ross County by the looks of things. I think we're going to see Alex Samuel and Ben Purrington. They've both been going through their paces here. Not sure just yet who it's going to be for, but 2 substitutes for Malcolm Mackay. Looks like he's going to roll the dice and try and get the 10 man of the Staggies back into this game. I can just confirm it is Alex Samuel. He's coming on for Simon Murray, so he'll go on up top by himself, and Purrington just on the touchline here, number 3. Looks like he could be coming on perhaps at left back. He is coming on at left back for George Harman. So they're going to continue with this 5-3-1 formation, giving some fresh legs. The big question is, can they get themselves back into the game, or will Celtic extend their lead? Paolo Bernardo stands over the ball, and we're about to get underway, Gordon, for the second half.
Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard. Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. Get your prescription delivered straight to your door free of charge.
So, second half underway in Dingwall. Hugh Keevins, Mark Wilson, and that's it in the studio because Gordon Dale genuinely has gone somewhere.
You're going for a comfort break, I think.
No idea where.
You're allowed just to walk out the studio when the show's on.
Not really. It's not ideal.
There he is.
Are we keeping
Sorry to bring you back.
Where were you? You having a bit of difficulty in there?
I was away just looking at the footage of the substitutions and what Celtic's got available.
Did you wash your hands while you were doing that?
Yeah. I was away just having a
Good
cup
on
of tea.
you. Right, there we are. A couple of changes for Ross County. Mark at the break, Alex Samuel on among them. Is this where it does become difficult? Because it's all right being down to 10 men and trying to be stuffy, but can you get yourself back into the game? What space do you have to give up to Celtic to allow that to happen?
Well, I think we all know that Malcolm Mackay will try and stay in this up until the closing stages, keep it at 1, and then try and promote bodies. Look, if you're Simon Murray, unless you've got an injury, I think you're hard done by again, because he's had nothing to do. He's not really done anything wrong, but he's maybe just looking to freshen up that front man, because there's an awful lot of mileage to be covered in the legs of the front man today. So Malcolm Mackay has to hang in there, just get through certain sections of the game and then promote bodies as the game trickles on.
Yeah, I think that will be the tactic. He'll not go and start committing men forward just a couple of minutes into the second half, try to get back in it. Keep yourself in the game. Might be a set play, it might just be a bit of luck, a deflection, a breakaway. It might be anything, but at 1-0 you're still in the game. 2, you're done.
They'll need to offer a lot more though, because it feels like they've barely even had a set play opportunity. I can remember one long throw coming in and I think one free kick from Jan Danda.
Not much at all. But look, I keep going on about Danda's delivery. When you've got someone like that and you're down to 10 men, then you've got to make the most of it. So
you do have a strange amount of man love for Jan Danda.
Yeah, I love it.
What is the basis of that?
Just listen how he delivers that ball. I think it's worth its weight in gold in a team. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I thought you as a striker would like that. I took a lot of set pieces in my time.
Trying to sign this guy for Partick?
I was going to say that. Well, he needs it because he get beat last night.
We went down 3-1 last night to you.
No,
they were winning 1-0 as well
to Ayr United.
You were winning 1-0.
And listen, I'm going to blame the pitch. It was a mixture of rugby lines and blue lines and yellow lines. Your boys were playing rugby in the second half, I thought.
1-0 up, and the tactical genius makes 3 substitutions.
5 subs.
All at once?
No, once. No. It's development. Development. You've got to take the 3 stoppages and make the 5 subs. Give everybody their opportunity. That's what I like about
development football. Business.
Here's
not
the
at that
difference.
level. That's what I'm waiting about it. I can't get sacked
We
this
didn't
morning.
hear that last week when he won. It was all about him. No, it's give everybody the opportunity.
I'll come up with a different excuse next week.
Decent enough ball from the corner, David Turnbull, but well defended by Ross County as the second half just gets itself ticking along.
Celtic kicking towards their own fans behind that goal. I mean, everybody in the stadium knows that if Celtic get another one, it's game, set and match. So that's what they are trying to do early in the first half. Yang on the ball now. I think he should be really doing more in this game. You're obliged to look at all the changes made and who's been a success and who hasn't. I think Yang and Paulo Bernardo have a bit to do second half in order to make us remember that they were playing.
It's the same pattern as the first 40 plus minutes, Gordon.
51 in the end, I think you'll find.
Yeah, but remember there was 9 minutes. The Ross County had 11 men, so start doing your maths a little bit.
The pattern started at the start though.
Did it?
I don't
Okay.
think the centre-half made much difference.
No, not really, because Ross County had the first opportunity of the game with Jordan White, and Mark will quite early point out should have done better.
There wasn't even a minute on the clock at that point.
Yeah, but it's still in the front
mundane exchange.
They were still in the front foot. Let's not argue over it.
Great ball there. Was it Carter Vickers down the side? Kind of what I was alluding to earlier, that Celtic have to move the ball down the side of the back three for Ross County, and just gets down the side and swivels, shoots, decent save again.
Yeah, he did all he could under the circumstances. He's been unfortunate. You know, he took his goal well first half, but it was disallowed, and he's put himself about to good effect. As I say, you're obliged to look at those who have come in from the periphery, and has been a bigger contributor than Yang or Paulo Bernardo.
It was good movement from O, but he's never scoring from that angle. Goalkeeper covered that very well, but the movement's good. You're right, Hugh, I think his work rate's very good indeed. He'll be desperate to get a goal. There's no doubt he will be desperate to add to that goal, and they go on Wednesday night against St Mirren.
Well, Ross County in the Celtic half, you would think that it would be inconceivable that Celtic could make a mess of it, 1 up, 11 v 10. So they take care of that ball there.
Your man's good at these set plays, Mark.
By the way, I just wondered why he was taking that. That's in the halfway line.
If he's that good, he can take them from anywhere.
But halfway line,
Couldn't even reach 18 yard box.
No, he's better than that. He's letting me down.
Busy work from Alex Samuel, barges Greg Taylor off it, and it gives County a chance, but it just doesn't really come to anything.
No, it's a cross.
From Latour,
That's definitely a cross. But unfortunately, they've not got enough bodies in the box to go and trouble Celtic.
You know, you get these things, these incidents that happen, and generally you would attach the phrase and say, only in Scottish football could that happen. And every now and then something happens elsewhere and you think, I'm frustrated that they beat us to that type of calamity. Arsenal under 18s due to play Brighton today. Hugh, your Seagulls. Jack Wilshere is the under 18s coach for Arsenal, much like you at Partick Thistle.
We're all into it. We're all into
similar
it,
when you think about it.
Wilshere and Wilson.
So they were due to play Brighton. The problem is Arsenal went to Bournemouth, which is 95 miles further along the coast.
Who's driving that minibus?
I don't know, but let's not make any jokes that you're going to regret. That's all I'm going to say. Just in case the next line was something controversial, that's all.
I was never going to be
That's a big header, that.
Slightly. I mean, that's like, you're a Motherwell man. That's kind of like Motherwell to Carlisle of a mistake.
Yeah, that's a bad mistake.
It's not ideal.
You don't recover from that today.
Well, there is no 3-point turn quick enough to fix that.
No.
Big organisation as well at that club. I mean, lots of staff members.
We'll get back to that. Paulo Bernardo's got a shooting chance from a free kick. What a moment this would be for him. Not the worst, but just over the top.
Not a bad effort. But I mean, how can a club of Arsenal's size, I don't care what level you're talking about, How can you go to the wrong ground? That is the definition of laughing stock.
I'd like to know what the communication was and if they tried to like sort of lie their way out of it, because the scheduled kick-off was 12 o'clock. They then pushed it back to 12:30. You know, so you're not going to make up that distance in half an hour.
You just blame the bus driver, don't you? There,
they thought they could get away with it.
He's the outside.
It's fully off
entity there. Just it was all the bus driver's fault. And he's obviously not paid attention.
You'd have phoned up Bournemouth and said, what are your under 18s doing today? Let's get a wee game.
Or we'll meet you somewhere.
Yeah.
And like, you know, the Arsenal Academy Twitter, 500,000 followers on it, just says today's match away to Brighton has been postponed. It doesn't say why.
Due to the fact we're in Bournemouth.
Which is quite an important minor detail.
All the money that goes into that, you think of their budget that goes into academy level there.
Remarkable.
Yeah. Better check the fixture for next week for that. Make sure I'm in the right place.
Absolutely remarkable.
I mean, Mikel Arteta is greeting faced at the best of times, but when he finds out about this,
he'll not even know who the 18s are playing. The clubs are that big.
But it's the club's name that's the laughing stock.
Do you think the Arsenal 18s do the same to their head coach as the Thistle 18s do to theirs?
There's a chance.
Great ball. Oh dear me.
First time finish, David Turnbull. Good ball through.
Scales distribution is first class. I mean, apart from doing well defensively, that's a great ball.
That's a great pick
what
out.
A goal that would have been.
A great pick out. Good run from Turnbull, but that's a difficult ball to play. A straight ball
and
over
a
the
difficult
top.
one to finish as well.
Yeah, it would have been some goal if it went in.
Do you think Arsenal 18 say to the head coach, come on coach, tell us about those big Champions League nights, just the same as the Partick Thistle under 18s
maybe. I don't think he had the success as bees in the Champions League.
Please move on.
Yeah, he only dominated the game at the Nou Camp when he was about 16.
Well,
Jack Wilshere.
The only thing you've got at the Nou Camp as well.
The only thing you've got in common with him is you
retired early.
No, your surname
Played
started
the
with a
Champions
W.
League.
That's it. That's the nearest you're come to him.
Certainly not the bank balance anyway, I'll tell you that.
I think you've got a few quid there the way you run about London and a bit of high flying and Kilimanjaro and up the gyro.
Anyway, 55 gone at Dingwall. It's no different from the first. Celtic looking good for a second without having created anything major. That Turnbull chance was a good one, but a hard finish, I think, to take on. It does still sort of look like a matter of time. Is that fair?
The goal's been scored by a midfielder. The other best attempt at goal apart from that was from another midfielder, Callum McGregor. But up front, has been unfortunate, but Maeda and Yang have contributed very little in the wide areas.
Where I'm with you a little bit, Hugh, I'd like to see when Yang gets the ball, as Brendan Rodgers will make a substitute. 5 minutes. Okay, Brendan.
Just waving at the crowd there, man.
No, 5 minutes. I'm like Gordon, lip reading.
He was very clear. I don't think you need to read any lips. The hand gave it away with the 5 fingers.
But doesn't mean to say it was 5 minutes.
Luis Palma and one other.
Well, certainly not the lad holding the corner flag. He's not really interested.
I think it'd be Palma at home.
Yeah.
I think Yang has got to be a little bit more positive for me. Every time he gets the ball, he just looks to pass it off. You know, got a great opportunity. 1v1, go and take them on.
Callum McGregor goes into the book. I have to say, I think referees, when tackles like that are made on the halfway line mark, I just don't know why that. I mean, I suppose he does.
He's on his foot.
To be fair, I didn't see that. I thought it was just the trip.
Yeah.
But there we go. Doesn't matter about this one. I still think refs give daft yellows on the halfway line too often, but there we go.
Get the man Dand on it for the halfway.
Oh yeah,
you know
here we
what
go.
He is as well.
Watch out, Joe Hart.
I mean, look how high the Celtic backline is. That's an incredibly difficult ball to play in and stop. So I think they should try and work this. I know they're down to 10 men, but try and work it to get into a different area.
Yeah,
or maybe not. What a ball!
Decent enough ball. Ross County win the first contact,
corner,
and then it's going to be a corner. So Ross County need to make moments like this count, because they're not going to do much attacking at all, and it's a set piece chance to put Celtic under a bit of pressure.
That's it. That's why I know that every manager thinks different. But Jordan White, the one thing he does possess is an aerial threat, especially at set plays, and I think that's the best chance Ross County's got of scoring a goal here this afternoon.
They've still got a few big laddies up there.
Yeah.
Trying to make a nuisance of themselves, and it's Mark's man Jan Danda who's going to go for the outswinger. It's got a lot of pace on it. It's rubbish though. Goes right to Callum McGregor at the front post. And Celtic might be away here if they can pick their passes wisely. But Yang just doesn't quite get the
good
right
defence
pass up the line.
Puddington does brilliantly there. Comes all the way across for the. Did you purr there? I thought I heard that.
I have no idea why I just done that.
Please don't do that.
Never do that again, please.
Like George Galloway. Remember him in Big Brother?
I can be the cat. I can see him acting like that.
100%. If you went into the Big Brother house, you'd be exactly the same.
You'd be the cat.
Oh, I've no idea why.
Have you not? Have you ever seen that though? Do you know
I've never seen Big Brother in my life.
You never seen the George Galloway cat incident? No.
No.
Oh, it's outstanding.
Dazzler, I guarantee the Dazzler won't know who George Galloway
Have
is.
you seen it?
Oh yeah, many
Oh,
times.
it's
Yeah,
spectacular.
Rula Lenska.
Many times.
Watched it many times.
I had a spectacular fallout with George Galloway on television once. And
Of course you did.
yeah,
How did that happen?
we were on Kirsty Walk's programme, and
He's lived
loved
some
the
life,
life,
this guy.
What was that called?
Kirsty Walk's programme.
What was it called?
I don't remember.
Kirsty? Was it not just
Kirsty, probably, yeah.
He's now hanging out with you two.
Kirsty and Shug.
And we had a spectacular set to.
About what?
It was the time
Iraq.
of Fergus McCann coming into Scotland to take over Celtic, and we had a spectacular set to on the telly. And he said to me when it was over, "Where are you going?" And I said, "I'm going to have dinner with my family in a restaurant." And he said, "I'll come with you." And he did.
Did he speak like that?
Yeah.
How he does, yeah.
Yeah.
He just tagged along, invited himself to dinner.
My wife, as we walked in, mouthed to me, "What's he doing here?"
That's amazing.
I can't believe you said, "Aye, okay, that's fine. Come on."
The type of life that Hugh Keevins has lived, and he now hangs about with you two in here on a Saturday. So where did you, George Galloway and Mrs. Keevins go for dinner?
Mr. Sings.
This is like a would I lie to you?
Yes, I know.
I think you just made that one up there, Mr. Sings. He was too close.
No.
definitely
We met. I met my wife and my children in the pub next door, and when we walked in, that's when my wife mouthed, "What's he doing here?"
You wouldn't forget a dinner with him.
Well, he probably says that about Hugh Keevins as well, though. So
And Hugh went, "He's paying."
did he third in for the
No,
bill?
he was the MP for Hillhead at that time, and constituency business suddenly cropped up, and he had to do a
I
runner.
bet. That sounds like a likely excuse.
Here's
That one.
Kyogo coming now, Hugh.
Yeah, I told you, because it's getting, it's getting hard work now.
Do you think the plan would always have been to give him half an hour?
Possibly, but I mean, Bernardo, who's going off.
So Maeda, Bernardo, and Turnbull off.
Yeah.
Palma, Home, and Kyogo on.
Well, you know what? Celtic are making hard work of it now. They're 15 minutes into the second half. They're playing 10 men. Ross County's energy levels must be dropping, but they're still making hard work of it. A 2-0 lead, and it's over and done with, but they're
two
struggling.
of the substitutes going to play
This is a bit of a reshuffle because Kyogo is on, but
up front. There'll be a two.
O stays on. You know, two midfielders have came off and only one goes on. David Turnbull goes off. Mark, probably Celtic's best player up to this point.
I would say so. I think he's been impressive
Midweek.
all afternoon. I
Midweek,
think
Mark.
scored goal, set pieces good. Could have had a setting. Will he play midweek? I think he's done enough to play midweek. Interesting to see what Home does, by the way, here in half an hour, because a lot of Celtic fans like him. I think he's had a decent enough start, but I just need to see more of him. So that's a good opportunity for him. But I think Turnbull's deserved to have the shirt. I think when he gives you that goal threat, of course, why wouldn't you want a midfielder like that in your side? And it's a must-win game.
Hugh
Madrid.
touched on it at the beginning of the show that Brendan Rodgers has picked a team looking at the Champions League. Is that substitution looking at the Champions League with Turnbull, and Bernardo's obviously off as well?
Well, they both they won't both play.
It's one of
No,
those. I think.
that's what I'm saying. So it's one or the other.
There's no chance of Bernardo
And
playing.
if you're judging it in today's performance,
Well, he's the one that
Then-
he got the nod to replace
Yeah,
Hatate against
but,
Atletico, though.
Mark is talking about it's a good opportunity for home. It was a good opportunity for Paulo Bernardo, and he did next to nothing in the game. And you've got to look at these guys are from the periphery. They haven't done enough to make themselves automatic choices for Brendan Rodgers. And for me, Paulo Bernardo, no.
It is a different, obviously, tactical challenge, though, isn't it, Mark? In terms of if Brendan Rodgers is selecting his midfield for midweek, he may give emphasis to who he feels is better off the ball. It's perfectly possible. It's a completely different challenge.
More a defensive midfield player.
I think so, and maybe, just maybe, that's what might let Turnbull down. You know, not that he's particularly bad at it, but maybe a Home or a Bernardo might be better suited to that. So if he's not on the team sheet come midweek, then that's why. Certainly not for going forward. If you need goals, Turnbull's
look
probably
at
your
that
man.
ball
What a
again
pass
from
that is.
Scales.
Yeah, Keogh goes in. It's another smart stop. A double smart stop from Ross Laidlaw. I think that one's whacked him somewhere sore.
What an afternoon he's having, Laidlaw.
I think Yang's got. Is it Yang out in the wing area?
What a touch that is from Keogh. What a touch. But the goalie was.
I think he's got to square this one.
To
I
narrow
think
the
he's
angle.
got to square this too. I think he's got too much to do there.
Oh, actually, do you know what?
Not
It
a
just
chance.
comes
He's
off Rod
square.
Laidlaw's hand. Does the first one hit him somewhere? Because he seems to be in a bit of discomfort.
You're never squaring that, you. If you're coming in where
have a
Yang
look
is.
at the position of you. Oh, he's got a tap in. Watch this, Mark. I think that you
Look at the Scales ball again.
You're
yeah,
right
it was
there.
brilliant. Look at this here. Go and square it. Nah, to be fair.
Right, always get his arms extended, saying, "Why didn't you square it?"
I think he needs to play through a player there. He square it. I think Yang's
Nah,
entitled
yeah, I'm
to
with
take
you.
that on.
I'm with you.
Anyway,
But you're right, Hugh. Scales.
Yeah.
You know, because again, a difficult ball to play. He has to take a wee bit off it, but enough on it to get over the Ross County backline. What a touch it was for
he's
Keogh.
made better passes going forward than anybody in the midfield.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying to work this out. Mark will tell me. With Kyogo coming on, what sort of formations he went up top? Is he went just 4
4-2-4.
and the forward line with Owen, Kyogo?
Yang's off
with
one
the
side, Palmer's off the other,
yeah.
and Kyogo probably just playing around though, maybe. Just
Dropping in a bit.
Dropping in at number
hasn't he?
10, yeah.
Bizarrely, I mean, we're 65 minutes in, and the game will last who knows how long, 97, 98 minutes. But Celtic haven't got it over the line yet. You can go on and on and on about who's done what. They haven't got it over the line yet. And therefore, you're susceptible to something daft happening.
I'm quite happy because my 2-0 is looking not too bad at this moment
You're
in
in the
time.
driving seat, I think.
I'm off to a good start, I think. You's all conceded Celtic were going to lose a goal, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Need to start doing
Ross
it.
County are knocking at the door.
They're not coming in here. They're not coming in.
I'll hold you to that.
Well, their best opportunity, you know, even as from dead balls, even from the goalkeeper, because it's the only way they're able to get anybody near Samuel up front. You know, in possession, they've just not got the quality really to pass through Celtic with 10 men.
Is this a
No,
long
that's
throw,
difficult.
Mark? Is this a long throw?
It's going to have to be a
Baldwin's
very
going to
long
chuck
throw.
that
Here we
right
go.
in.
Just looks to go down the line. It is one initially by Ross County, and Laturi's going to pick it up. But Ross County have really not attacked very often. It was going to be a hard day anyway. Then they went down to 10 early on. Maybe a chance here just to spin it in behind. It has got in behind,
Out.
but my goodness, Nightingale with a heavy touch, and away it goes. So Celtic will be looking for that second to kill it off. Ross County will be hoping to hang in there and just get the job
If you're
up to a
Malky,
point where they can throw something at it.
if you're Malky, you're reasonably happy that you're still in the game, as much as you've not really offered a lot, but at least you've still got that opportunity. If you just get one glimpse at goal, a chance could maybe salve you something. But I think Brendan Rodgers will be asking for a little bit more now, as you quite rightly say, Hugh.
To
Not
be
over the
fair,
line.
though, it's some good saves from Ross
Yeah,
Laidlaw,
but
isn't it?
I
What
think
you
you'll be
do
wanting
about
that killer
either
goal,
way.
that second one, just to put the game to bed.
I mean,
It doesn't-
I agree with you about the goalkeeper being absolutely different class, but that's what he's there for, you know. And until Celtic get a second goal, this is not over.
67 minutes gone. It certainly has been comfortable. so far, but we'll see what the remainder of this match has in store. We're not too far away from going round the rest of the grounds in the Premiership to get some team news. We've actually got some featured Championship matches for you this afternoon as well, and of course later on a lovely Cup semi-final weekend, the first of two big games. Hibs against Aberdeen at Hampden, the winner taking on the winner of Rangers Hearts, which takes place tomorrow. So plenty of time to get to that stuff, though. Still most of the focus in Dingwall as Celtic probe and look for that second. Liam Scales is about 30 yards out, which tells you the sort of level of territory Celtic are having. Here's Palma coming in on the right foot. He just can't quite work an angle, or can he? And it flashes past the post. That's quick becoming a bit of a trademark. Luis Palma move that mark in off,
very good at it.
In off the left onto his right foot and get the shot away.
Yeah, very good at it, that right foot. Bags of ability in there. He can deliver it right in the money, but he's good at coming in and usually find the corner. He works the angle well. I actually think he should hit the target once he's managed to work.
Mark, as a fullback, are you showing him in there, or are you showing him down the line?
Not a chance.
Because some
showing him down the line.
Because some fullbacks will look to show someone in the pitch because they're running into other bodies.
I think with him, there's so much danger that
with the right foot,
just one step he can deliver it, or another touch he puts it in the top corner like we've seen as well. So down the line for me all day long, and back yourself. Because I don't think he's blistering, but look, he's probably quicker than I initially gave him credit for when he came. But I would try and back myself with pace with him. But he's a good player, proven to be a good signing. Talking about players hitting the ground running, I mean, his first couple of appearances, question marks over him, but I think he'll quickly become a favourite of the Celtics support, and he's one that will definitely start midweek in Madrid.
Well, when you look at the summertime activity on the transfer front, Luis Palma is the one that stands out. He's really got serious intent every time he's on the ball, and he would be the best bet for a second goal today, I think. But as I say, the clock is ticking. We're now almost 70 minutes gone. It's 1-0, and therefore the deal isn't done yet.
You're looking for a bit of drama today, Hugh.
I get the. I just get the.
Worked with you too long.
Got the feeling. Got the feeling.
Got what feeling?
The drama feeling.
Something daft.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, looks. I think certainly would be a shock at this point. Go on, make a charity bet that Gordon Dalziel has to make your cup of tea for the next whatever it is.
Don't do that, Hugh, because it doesn't pay off.
You seriously don't think Celtic will win this game?
No, I didn't say that. I said there's potential there for as long as the game goes on and they can't get the second goal.
I know that, but
there is the potential.
But of course there is. There always is. But what do you think the outcome of this match is going to be?
Go, Hugh. Go.
Come on, Hugh.
I would say 2-0 Celtic.
Right, okay. 20 minutes left. We will see what happens.
It was an anticlimax.
What a back turn that was. Come on, Hugh. You're
He's
better
speaking
than that.
sense. Hugh's speaking sense. I think this has been as straightforward a day as Brendan Rodgers could have hoped for. When you get the opposition gets a man sent off in 9 minutes and you can make subs under no pressure in 60 minutes, it's a good day.
I think David Turnbull had a free kick on the angle earlier that hit the wall. Paulo Bernardo had a good one in a shooting opportunity. He hit it over the bar. It's now Luis Palma's turn to go from distance. He hits the wall as well. How frustrating is that as a fan?
His problem hits.
Even more frustrating for Baldwin when it smashes you in the face.
Looked a sore one, didn't it?
Yep, jumps up, takes it right square in the head.
Square in the
we saw Alistair Johnson last weekend as well. I wonder if that might be enough to see the end of Jack Baldwin's afternoon. The Ross County skipper, he's holding his nose, but I thought it hit him on the top of the head, I must say, but it could be mistaken quite easily. Maybe it's all biting the tongue. That's never ideal, is it?
Brave defending. I would have had the hands up there, protecting the face.
No, I'd have had the back turn. They'd have seen man all day long. I would never have went in a wall. I just thought that was for
what?
Just poor players type thing, you know. Not the best looking boys. Just aimed in that wall. And then obviously you
would have been the charger. See the wee guy that runs the fastest, because that's what your game was
The one
modelled
thing I would
on.
never have
that
been,
would require him to put himself in danger.
I would never have been lying down behind the wall. Let me tell you, my dignity wouldn't have put me that far.
We've all been there, but no, the old draft excluder. It's one of my highlights.
I actually think Jack Baldwin looks fine to continue at the moment, although we did say that about Alistair Johnson eventually last week, and off he went. So we'll keep an eye on it. But
fair pace on the ball,
yeah, but he didn't seem to be in any real discomfort after he got back up. So I think that one does look initially like it's going to be fine. 72 gone, Ross County 0, Celtic 1. If there continues to be as many lulls in play as there are at the moment, I will go round and start getting some team news from the other matches. Almost certainly we've got good ones in the Premiership. Well, a good one in the Premiership. It's actually a massive day for Motherwell, away to Kilmarnock. 2 featured Championship games, one at Tannadice, one at Gayfield as well. The pundits are on their travels today, and then later on, of course, as we said, Hampden Park for Hibs against Aberdeen.
It's great to hear that Fraser's travelled more than Arsenal under-18s today just to get a game. What an afternoon that is.
It's getting very scrappy on the edge of the box. It might break Celtic's way though, and it does. It's just, I tell you
Good
what,
block again.
Ross County's shot blocking has been brilliant today.
Great. And Baldwin again. Baldwin, that impressive block in the first half. There again, he's down his knee but makes his body big. McGregor was just trying to find the... Was it McGregor? Was just trying to find... I was at home, just trying to find the far post. Great defending.
Both Home and McGregor wearing black boots. That's the confusion, because I almost fell for it myself. And then
and those long sleeves, that kind of undergarment.
When Home sort of ran away, it's given away by Ross County on the edge of the box. But fortunately for them, Greg Taylor didn't really know what to do with it. Turns back out, keeps good possession.
He's turned into a brilliant player, Greg Taylor, at that, taking up that midfield role just to outnumber whoever else is in there, whoever he's up against. He's very comfortable in the ball. He spends a lot of his time, in the centre of the pitch for a fullback.
Oh, jeez. I like the intent from Cameron Carter-Vickers, but he's absolutely fizzed that through ball and ended up being nowhere near a teammate in the end.
I think you've got to give Ross County a little bit of credit here. They've kept themselves in the game. Very difficult. They've not offered anything, let's be honest. But they've worked extremely hard as an outfit to try and, make sure that this game just didn't turn out a 3 or a 4 this afternoon. To be fair, Celtic could still score a few goals, but I've got to say, if I was Malky Mackay, I'd be very, very pleased with the application of my players.
Yeah, they've stuck at it, not managed to cause Celtic any trouble yet. But as you say, sometimes you get into that closing stage and you can throw caution to the wind a little bit, but there's been no sign of it yet. 75 on the clock. Scales has had a couple of really good high straight balls forward. I suppose it's difficult to get them all right. That one in the end goes to Ross Laidlaw. It just feels like every time Ross County kick it up the pitch, Mark, it just goes to Celtic and they start again.
Just no out ball. They're trying to get it to Samuel and bodies round about him, but it's incredibly difficult when he's up against Scales and Carter Vickers and they allow them to come back. One thing I do like about Scales is he's brave enough to try and play that forward pass. It would be an easy afternoon for him just to go in there with his left foot, get the ball and play it to Greg Taylor, or just shift it on to Cal McGregor. It shows that the boy's got a bit about him, that he's looking to make things happen. So I think that's what Brendan Rodgers was saying. He's came a long way. He wasn't even travelling with the squad, I think he said. And for any fringe player that's on the outside now, they look at him and think, well, there is opportunities to be had, but I need to grasp them when I get given them. You've got that everyday opportunities.
Yeah, and this depends. The sort of you make your own luck type thing, and of course you do, and you need to be there. And he's only stayed in because of his performances, but Mike Nawrocki being signed for a few million and then getting injured straight away, Cameron Carter-Vickers, and
helps,
you still need something to open up for you, don't you?
Of course. And he probably is fortunate that all that came at the one time.
Stephen Welsh is even injured.
Stephen Welsh, yeah. So he was so far down the pecking order, but you've got to be active to take your chance, and he has done that. And again, he just looks like he's getting more confident week on week. And he doesn't look like anybody's going to come in and put him into the team, which is great to see.
Ross County just cannot keep the ball. Every time it breaks them, they give it back. There goes Home. Oh, what a save that is from Ross Laidlaw. Home thought he had found the top corner, but Ross Laidlaw has had a very good game and he's kept that up. Home, you could see him just opening his body, sending it towards the top corner. Keeper at full stretch, tips it away.
Well, he's the man of the match, that's for sure. That was a goal all the way from Thiago Home, but Laidlaw, how many has he saved? I mean, it ought to be 5 or 6-0 for Celtic.
He's made some good stops, that's for sure. As that one comes in and it falls to Kyogo at the back post, you can sense he's going to try and shift it and shoot. But how many shots have Ross County blocked? Because
they've been brilliant at that this afternoon.
Yeah.
It's a big part of the game, defending, blocking shots and protecting the goalkeeper. They've been excellent.
I think that one was going to be tough for Kyogo,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
the defender was
right down
close,
his throat.
yeah.
Now it's Palmer's turn. No save this time though.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
That's a stunner from Luis Palma off the bench in Dingwall. He smashes one high over the head of Ross Laidlaw, probably puts the game to bed, and in some style, Mark Wilson.
Terrific ability from Palma, just gets that yard. He's about 25 yards out, just a yard shifted
Dip.
right foot, dips over the goalkeeper. Laidlaw has been magnificent today, but he couldn't do anything to stop that. What a goal.
Yeah, you ain't stopping that. He knows what he's doing. He looks up, and you're thinking, that looks not the greatest. It just dips and takes a
That's
bend.
stunning, isn't it?
Kills a goalkeeper. Absolutely destroys a goalkeeper with that. That's a great goal.
Turning
Great
into a
goal.
fan's favourite now, like I was saying there. Goals like that always add to it, but he's just looks like a player with bags of ability. Can go past players each way, and he's got that in his game. So terrific. That's it, done and dusted. Ross County have fought well with 10 men, but it was coming. Laidlaw's had, as Hugh was just saying here, Laidlaw's had about maybe 7-8 saves. I could do nothing about that one.
How good was that, Hugh?
Yeah, I mean, that's why he'll play against Atletico Madrid, and nowhere else we've got to look in. As I say, it's a day for assessing those on the periphery that Brendan Rodgers trusted today, as he prepares to bring on Iwata and Jamesy Forrest. Palma is just a success story. He scored goals, he's a threat, and they're very fortunate to have him. But other players have fallen short when asked, but not this guy.
I guess, Mark, that's why you need that quality, that finishing touch, because for all Celtic's territory, Ross County have blocked a lot of shots, they have defended well. Ross Laidlaw's been good, so you might need two players to smash one in from outside the box, from well outside the box, and that's what Turnbull and Luis Palma have both done.
By the
today.
way, I think top teams, that's a big part of their recruitment. They need players that can play when there's that low block against you, that will make things happen, that can score from 25 yards or make the goalkeeper
and
work.
here goes Kyogo. It might well be 3, but it's a really tame finish. Wow, don't see him drag shots like that too often. He knows it. I actually wondered if he could have taken it in further. I don't know why he pulled the trigger so early. I think he's even kicked the turf as well, because he's limping away. He just pulled the trigger very early.
I mean, he's hit almost at the position where Palma hits his shot from. I don't know why. There's a rare occasion.
Yeah, it's going to be a massive 10-minute rest for Callum McGregor, replaced by Tomoki Iwata, and Yang goes off to be replaced by James Forrest. I think it's easy to be overly critical, Hugh. I'm not sure it would be fair to say Yang's had a bad game. It's just been quiet. It's just not been able to influence it the way he would have wanted.
And influence is the best word, because Paulo Bernardo was able to influence nothing. Yang has influenced nothing. And one of the interesting topics of the day was to assess those who came in, those who changed the team to the risk strategy, and Yang did not influence anything, and neither did Paulo Bernardo.
Yeah, I thought Yang was quiet, I've got to say. I agree with you in that. You'd have been looking for a better performance, but look, sometimes when you do get everybody behind the ball, you don't get the space that you normally get, because teams do commit players forward. Ross County haven't. They've sat deep, they've tried to frustrate Celtic, and at times they've certainly achieved that, especially with the goalkeeper. But it's been 2 terrific goals, and it's a luxury Brendan Rodgers got in making
Carter
substitutions.
Vickers from range now, but down the throat of Ross Laidlaw. So it's Ross County 0, Celtic 2. Celtic looking comfortable, going to head back down the
M9?
A9, I'm afraid.
I keep getting the M and the A's mixed up.
You're the one that started all this, and
I
now
know,
you're
but
falling
it's-
short at your own game. So you're
Sat
going to have
nav.
to
When did they
That
change
should
that?
be your nickname.
So whilst it looks like that one is going to reach a natural expected conclusion, let's start with getting team news from elsewhere. There is one other standout match in the Scottish Premiership today. Let's hold that thought because Celtic are in behind through O. He chops back onto his right, he chops it into the box and cleared away for now. So let's get team news from Rugby Park. Kilmarnock taking on Motherwell, and that's going to be watched by David Friel.
Yeah, looking forward to this one, Gordon. I think it's always a cliche, managers need a reaction, but I think both Derek McInnes and Stuart Kettlewell certainly need a reaction today. Two teams who were hurt by poor midweek results and performances. Kelly lost at St Johnstone. I said they were going down last week. St Johnstone, they were 2-0 up inside 7 minutes against Kilmarnock. It finished 2-1. Really poor result for Kelly. Then Motherwell losing 4-2 at home to Aberdeen. It was 4-0.
Just hit pause right there, David Friel. You can pick up exactly where you left off after this.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
A collector's item, a James Forrest header, very well done down the left hand side. Was it Palma, sorry. Dances to the byline, neat footwork, just stands it up. One of those perfect ones that really you can't miss. And James Forrest sneaking in from the far side. Good movement from Forrest though to find space, 5 yards out. Game well and truly over now.
Well, Louis Palmer, what a contribution this is. He's come on, he's scored a magnificent goal, and that's a magnificent assist as well. It's what he does best. He can pick out a player, he can deliver the pass. He has been a standout since coming on.
Got to love that from Palmer. On his weaker foot, gets right in the touchline. He knows exactly what he's doing. Just a wee dink to take it over the goalie. Good header from Forrest.
James Forrest, not a striker, he's a winger's dream. Gordon Dalziel, you cannot ask for better than that.
It's what you be saying, the profession. He's just put it right in a plate for you. Go and put it in the back of net, and Forrest achieved that.
James Forrest now scored in 15 different seasons for Celtic. An outrageous return. Sorry, David Friel, as you were.
No, not at all. Yeah, I'm just saying both teams had poor results in midweek. And Kelly, that's away from home, losing to St Johnstone, that's been a recurring theme from them. They do have troubles away from home, but Rugby Park is a bit of a fortress for Derek McInnes' side. They have the best home record outside the Celtic and Rangers. They beat Aberdeen here last weekend, so I think they'll fancy themselves to get back in track against a Motherwell team who we all know are really toiling for form. And Kyle Vassell, Kilmarnock have someone who's not struggling for form. He's got 4 goals in 3 games and he leads the line here today. I'll just go through the Kilmarnock team for you. It's just one change. Robbie Dees is in for Liam Polworth. A bit of a debate in the press box about how Kelly are going to line up, because they do have 4 centre halves in the team, so they're saying 4-4-2. We'll see how that pans out. It's Will Dennis in goals, Lewis Mayo, Joe Wright, Stuart Finlay, Robbie Dees, Danny Armstrong, David Watson, Brad Lyons, Matty Kennedy, with Marley Watkins and Kyle Vassell up front. Subs for Kelly O'Hara, Davis, Polworth, Murray, Cameron, Sanders, Donnelly, McKenzie, Dallas. As for Motherwell, Gordon, you don't need me to tell you, it's 1 point out of the last 18, 5 defeats in 6. It's been a really tough period for Stuart Kettlewell and his players. He said himself the Aberdeen performance in midweek was our worst since February. So much has been made of the lack of attacking threat, but they've also started to leak goals. Obviously 7 going in against him in the last 2 games against County and Aberdeen. He isn't shying away from the poor results, but he's also confident it will turn soon. As he said, when things are going really well, he wasn't getting too high, he's not too low now. But a win today would really boost them. They would actually replace Kelly in 5th place. If they score a few goals, they could even get to 4th today, just the inconsistency of all the other teams. And he has been boosted by the return in the last couple of games of Mika Biret, the Arsenal loan man. Dennis Ford will finally actually make his first start for Motherwell today, finally, since coming in the summer, and his stats as a sub have been off the scale. Just a wee look here, 94 minutes of Premiership action in total. He's scored 3, he's claimed 2 assists, so I think he'll be a big player today for Motherwell, and it's a very, very attacking lineup. Also, Stuart Kettlewell needs a performance. It looks as if it's going to be a 3-4-3 formation. Biret, Theo Bear, Callum Butcher and Shane Blaney are all in. Stephen O'Donnell, Bevis Mugabe, Lennon Miller and Callum Slattery out. So it's Liam Kelly in goals as usual. Back 3 of Callum Butcher, Dan Casey and Shane Blaney, Paul McGinn, Blair Spittle, Harry Payton and Brodie Spencer across the middle. It looks like a front 3 of Mika Biret, Connor Wilkinson and Theo Bear. Oxborough, O'Donnell, Gent, Mugabe, Slattery, Dravkovsky, Shaw, Wells and Ross are the Motherwell subs. Referee at Rugby Park is Matthew McDermott and the VAR is Ewan Anderson.
Very, very interesting. We'll get back to that game soon and continue the build up. Motherwell in desperate need of a win. Kelly looking for a reaction. Drastic changes to the team by Stuart Kettlewell, so we'll give that the full build up, or as full a build up as we can, when you've got a 12:30 kick-off and VAR delays, and this one's not going to be done till about 2:30 by the looks of things. But 87 on the clock. We wait to see how much additional time there will be. one thing is for certain, it's going to be a comfortable 3 points for Celtic here.
Yeah, and you look for things that will live in the memory. The performance of the Ross County goalkeeper Ross Laidlaw will live in the memory, because but for him it would be getting on for 7 or 8-0 today. He has been magnificent, as has been Louis Palmer since coming on as a sub. He has galvanised Celtic. It was all a bit of a hard work for them, but when he came on, he changed everything. He scored a truly outstanding goal, wonderful assist into the bargain, and he has been a real find for Celtic, and he, I would imagine, has to play against Atletico Madrid on Tuesday.
The very, very early sending off, we don't see many earlier than the 9th or 10th minute, Gordon, so it obviously changes the game completely. But you can only deal with the circumstances as they fall, and I suppose it's just been a job well done for Celtic in the end.
Yeah, Brendan Rodgers will be very pleased with it, Gordon. Ross County, unfortunately, you get down to 10 men after 9 minutes against a Celtic team that, you know, can keep the ball, make you run about, and the Celtic have been patient. They've created chances. I can't remember seeing Joe Hart in the second half. So he's been able to, with the luxury, make substitutions. Palmer coming on, getting a run out, really impressing. James Forrest coming on, getting a goal as well. They're not finished yet.
Are you genuinely inquiring if Joe Hart is still there?
Yeah,
because I think it is a fair question at this point.
I've not seen Joe Hart. I think Joe's away.
Is it Aviemore?
Yeah, he'll probably in getting the fish suppers.
Can't beat that, to be fair. See, back down.
Got to get a fish and chips.
Fish and chips.
Oh,
on
yeah.
the way back.
Joe's in there. 35 special fishes for the boys coming,
and a bottle of Head and Shoulders.
three red colas
from the wee Tesco across the road.
Yeah,
it's just a perfect stop off, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good setup they've got there.
Honestly, what a place.
Shows the way the game's going if you're talking about Aviemore High Street. The bakery as well. Bakery is great.
If you do it right, you've got your rolling sausage on the way up, and then your fish supper on the way back. That's all there. Anyway, Louis Palmer whips a corner in. More importantly, tries to shoot, I think, and it ends up on the roof of Ross Laidlaw's net. That's the type of exactly.
Yeah, he's been great since he's come on. But listen, I think every Celtic player would have enjoyed this afternoon. I've been there loads of times before. Player gets sent off, you're thinking, oh, we're quids in here. No, it can get frustrating. But as soon as Turnbull scores, I think, you know, all the jeopardy's out the game. I know Hugh was saying it was getting a bit hard work, but Celtic had Ross County camped in their box. It was only a matter of time before they got that second. So everybody getting enough game time ahead at the midweek fixture. Brendan Rodgers will be a happy man this afternoon.
If you were looking for teams around the country and across the border who needed a result, how's a 91st minute winner for Bruno Fernandes for you? Fulham 0, Man United 1 and 91 minutes on the clock.
Well, it's kept Ten Hag in the job for now.
For now. This is a wonderful run from home. Such a good run that he had no idea what to do at the end of it.
Just passed it
a really silly pass to Jack Baldwin.
If that had been a draw at Old Trafford, he was gone tonight.
It was at Fulham, but
yeah.
Fulham.
Fair point.
Well, he was gone tonight.
I think they'll prefer playing away from home. By the way, just now, Man United.
Just so many distractions. I mean, Rashford, are you allowed to go and celebrate your birthday? I mean, it's daft, isn't it? It's daft going out in that city, but is it enough to get you dropped out the squad completely?
No.
And the manager calling it unacceptable? What do we think?
If it happened in Glasgow, if it was a Celtic Rangers game and it happened in Glasgow, you know, there'd be uproar. The social media, everyone would have a photograph of you out celebrating it after your team's lost 3-0 at home. And Ten Hag, I think under pressure, he thinks that kind of move to drop Rashford will cut him some slack with the supporters, but I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, the players just aren't helping the case.
Daft,
everything at the club is disjointed, and the players should know.
To drop someone out the squad, would you?
I don't think you do that when you're chasing results. You need your best players round about you.
Well, he's been proved right. They've won the day.
They've won that 91st minute. They panicked. I love going to Fulham.
Say, Hugh, it's a game in 90 minutes or 91 minutes earlier.
A great memories going to Fulham with Man City, watching the boat race, eating a fish and chips while my teammates were trying to get the points.
This reminds me of a feature. Actually, you two won't know this. We started a new feature on the show last night. Well, it's kind of been growing in the last couple of weeks, but we've given it like a title and stuff, and we now feel we're in a position where we can give it the proper launch. It's Andy Halliday Bench Cam. because he's been, but he's actually come out some really good, because he's been telling us, he was telling us all about Brendan Rodgers and how he acts on the touchline, because he got a really good view. So this week he was able to tell us exactly what Philippe Clement was doing.
I like that.
Much
That's a great feature.
Much better than he would if he was on the pitch. So forget that stuff. We're sticking him in dugouts all around the country, and he's able to tell us what the opposition managers
Let's
do.
clarify that. We're not sticking no dugouts. Naismith's sticking them.
It's deliberate on our part.
All right.
We're happy with it.
And he'll be claiming for a few quid.
He's made a career sitting in the pine, isn't he?
It's great.
I like
us.
the feature.
It's a good
I
insight.
like that. I do like that.
Halliday's managerial bench cam, I think, is it's a work in progress, the title.
Imagine he gets a star. He's like, no, Gaffer, I need on the bench.
Hugh Keevins needs me.
I need a report for Clyde Super Scoreboard.
5 minutes added on in Dingwall. I don't think it matters much.
3 gone now
to either side. Yeah, 3 gone, I should have said. Jack Baldwin throws one into the box to try and get some sort of respectability. There you are. Joe Hart is still there.
Joe's back.
He watches that one sail harmlessly over his head.
I tell you what, that's the only time I'd have loved to be a goalkeeper in a day like that.
You'd be freezing.
Nah,
I'd end up standing talking to the crowd.
A wee bit of banter and wee sideward steps, and
Joe wouldn't understand what the crowd was saying. That's the problem.
They're all nicely spoken up that neck of the woods, Hugh. There's no slang about them.
Here we go, ball into the box. Celtic looking for a fourth. It's
another good save.
Another
good save.
I feel for
potentially should have done better.
Good score. To score.
Probably. He probably should.
I still feel like on another day and other goalies that still ends up going in though. Ross Laidlaw is having one of those types of days, because it's spun up in the air. He's trying to get a good contact on it, which he does.
Good reaction with his hand there, actually.
Directs it down the way. It was Kyogo first, then O.
Tell me why you're not just diving and saving that.
What?
The first one.
Are you actually going to be critical of Ross Laidlaw today?
No, I think he's been brilliant, but
he's knackered. He can't be bothered getting down there.
Individual. It's right.
He's made
just
40 saves.
He's a goalie. Dive down, but I've got to say, O's got to score there for me. He's got to. I don't care what you say. As a striker, you've got to put that away. You've got to put that away.
Harsh score.
You think that's harsh?
I'm not in the category.
Well, it's not a sitter.
It's a sitter.
It's not a sitter.
Yeah, I'm not in that category. I think it's a good save.
I think it's like he's open to criticism if he blazes it over the bar or doesn't catch it, but he catches it, he directs it down. Laidlaw goes and sticks out a big paw. I don't think we'll hold it against him too much. Last chance for Ross County to throw one in, and they do, and they think they've won themselves a corner. The referee agrees. Just delaying the inevitable, I suppose, but might as well try and finish on a high and save some sort of face from the game. Down to 10 men for a long time, of course.
The score here, my prediction's up because Dazzler's out here.
So are you actively hoping Celtic concede here? Would you do that?
Yeah, to be right, aye. Because the points are safe, of course.
Joe Hart tries to come off his line, can't
on
quite
the
get
Staggies.
Always been a big Staggies fan.
Yeah, I
As
like
Mark
that part of the
Wilson.
world. Oh,
Good
well
take.
done, Joe Hart.
There you go.
That's
And
the
that-
first and only thing he's had to do.
Yeah, he's looking, going, what's that?
That will be that. Let's go to Dingwall for the full-time picture with Gabriel.
Full-time Ross County 0, Celtic 3. Goals from David Turnbull, Lewis Palmer and James Forrest give Brendan Rodgers' side victory against 10-man County, and it moves them 8 points clear at the top of the league. It doesn't tell the whole story though. Celtic struggled to break this Staggies team down, but thanks to several moments of magic, it turned into a routine afternoon. The Hoops had 2 disallowed goals in the first half. Liam Scales was penalised for a foul in the build-up, and then O turned the ball in, but that was also offside. The crucial moment in the game came 10 minutes in. The right back was sent off. James Brown, a late challenge on Yang. Initially a booking, it was upgraded to red after the referee David Monroe went over to the monitor. Didn't seem malicious, but he could have no complaints. But it was deadlocked at 0-0. Several strong saves from Ross Laidlaw in the County goal in the first half. Big stops from Callum McGregor and Paolo Bernardo, and it looked like County were going into the interval with something to hang on to. But for the brilliance of David Turnbull, he had something to say about that, and it was a typical Turnbull strike. Low, it was hard, 20 yards out, across his body into the bottom corner, and Celtic didn't look back from there. More heroics from Laidlaw in the second half kept the score at just 1 until the introduction of Louis Palmer after the hour mark. He curled in a beauty from over 25 yards. It's now becoming one of his trademark moves when he comes in onto his right foot. That made it 2-0, and if you think he's all right foot, you'd be wrong. A few minutes later, he goes on the outside. A lovely dink over with his left foot, and it was a header, a tap-in of a header for James Forrest to get his first goal of the season. And the player of the match somehow was Ross Laidlaw, despite conceding 3 times. It could have easily been 8 or 9 on another day with another goalkeeper. Tough for Ross County, who stay in 10th place. They will rue that red card that they got so early on. But for Celtic, it's party time. You can hear the fans away to my left up here in Dingwall. They are 8 points clear of Rangers, who will not play until next week. And now all eyes turn to Madrid. Full time here in the Highlands. It's Ross County 0, Celtic 3.
Job well done, I assume, Hugh Keevins. Simple as that.
Yeah, but for Ross Laidlaw, it could have been 7-8-9. Admittedly, Celtic are handed an early advantage when Ross County down to 10 men, but that's their fault. It was a deserved red card for James Brown for the challenge on Yang. Thereafter, what really captured the attention was the arrival of Louis Palma into the game. He was exceptional, and he has gone to the front of the Celtic players to take the acclaim of the Celtic fans, which is normally the signal that he's been the standout for the afternoon. And he was. And he changed the game for Celtic. It was all very pedestrian, but he gave colour, flair, and a magnificent goal. So Louis Palma, star man, even though he played less than half the game. 3 points for Celtic, 8-point advantage. Rangers now have that game in hand, and they've got other things on their mind this weekend.
Yeah, very good afternoon for Brendan Rodgers and Celtic. Patient when he needed to be patient. Created plenty of chances, you've got to say, and Hugh's right. Laidlaw had a terrific afternoon with some fine stops, but you know, David Turnbull, what a stick, but again comes up with a goal at a crucial time because Celtic go in 1-up, and that takes all the stress off in the second half. And I thought it was only a matter of time before they added to it. Palmer coming on, showed his quality. Terrific goal, terrific assist. James Forrest again getting in the act. So all in all, when you look at the substitutions, the guys that he started, everything went right for Brendan Rodgers and Celtic today, and they go into Madrid full of confidence.
They were not an easy street today, you've got to say. Okay, it's helped by the fact that Ross County are down to 10 men. Never looked in danger, never looked like conceding a goal. You look at Brendan Rodgers there after the game, very pleased, very happy, good day's work, and move on to midweek.
Well, Celtic fans, you can tweet us your thoughts right now. I'll give you the nod when the phone lines are open later, and reaction to that will continue throughout the afternoon. If you want to hear from Brendan Rodgers, maybe one of the key players in there as well, you want to hear even Malky Mackay's take, you can do so right here as the afternoon progresses. In the meantime, let's draw a line under that for now and start building up to the 3 o'clock games next.
This is the story of that day you cleared out the garage. Classics with the best MC in the galaxy. Or the story of that workout when you lifted a weight off and harnessed the power of your emotions. Or the story of that long-haul flight, sat on the plains of the Namibian desert, soothed by the returning rains. From the Corrupt FM podcast to Darren Brown's Boot Camp for Emotion and Sleep Sound with Maya Jama. For the story you need right now, listen on Audible. Subscription required. See audible.co.uk for terms.